Doodle, 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 doodle. Whoop, whoop. Let's go. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Whoo. How's everybody doing today? We are firing on all syllables. Somebody sent me an email. They were like, I can't believe no one corrected you. It's actually firing on all cylinders. Not when you're a podcaster. When you're a podcaster, you are firing on all syllables because you got to talk for 3 hours. Anyway, let's jump in here. Somebody said, missed you all too. Someone says, I'm being written up. Oh, yeah. What can I do? There you go. Missed you guys too. Had to take a little bit of a break. Sometimes I just got to straighten my head out. You know, there's contracts I'm supposed to be looking at. There's things I'm supposed to be doing. There's light bulbs that need to be changed in the house, and I don't even have time to change light bulbs. We got high ceilings, so I got to get on a ladder. And I was just like, man, I'm not doing all these things, and it was just so good to just take that time really quick. And I even took a nap, and I had this realization. I took a nap with the baby on my chest, and I woke up and I realized I'm like, I used to do this with my first kid every single day. And, you know, the channel wasn't what it is now. And I haven't done that. That was the first time, or maybe the second time. But still, it's like, I gotta click back into what matters. So I had to take that time really, really fast. But I am back, feeling good. Let's jump in. Somebody says, I've been waiting for your commentary. Somebody else threw out there, they were like, the day that Candace goes scorched earth, the next day is the day you decide to take a break. I'm sorry. What could I say? I had to do it, you know. I even had to cancel Sam Tripoli's podcast. I just wasn't in it yesterday. I couldn't put that face on, you know. Really tough. But I will say this. This person's 100% right. Travis over here. Yeah. Blake finally got that airtime that he was begging for. Oh, did he? Oh, gosh. I was in the car listening to this. And then all of a sudden, I just hear Blake's name. I'm like, oh, God, what? And then I hear it again. I'm like, what? And then I hear it again. And I'm like, oh, she's going in on Blake? I didn't think that was going to happen. We're not talking about Blake Neff, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his last name is Bednarz. She went in on that Blake. I was very surprised. She never. Someone said, do you think Candace watches my show? I don't know. She brought it up once. She said that she laughs at it. George watches it or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't ask people that. Should I message her that? Hey, do you watch my show? Should I say that? Just, hey, do you watch my show? Just wondering, you know? It's actually a very good show. You should check it out. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And yes. Fleet's channel has been taken down. Let's talk about that really quick. Just before I jump into everything, we're going to here's what I'm going to jump into. We're going to jump into what Candace was talking about. She calls out Blake. She calls out Jeremy Boring. She calls out Salem Media. We have a list of podcasts there. Even our brother of the show, Officer Tatum, is on that list. I couldn't believe it. I was like, him? No, couldn't be. Then we jump into Barron's podcast yesterday. I liked where Barron was going with his podcast. Oh, I liked it a lot. You start talking about disclosure. Woo! I was like, Barron's on one. It was fantastic. Then a little back and forth with Blake Neff and Candace. And then a little bit of Erica Kirk jumping in on X. If you're not on X, she actually released some breaking news. A lot of people think she's going to step down from the CEO position. Then a little compilation of Brian Harpole. Somebody put together this interesting compilation of Brian Harpole and Gary sitting down together. And then we're going to talk about the data centers because I think that's a very important topic in my opinion. But yes, Fleet's channel got taken down. No idea why. Didn't believe it when somebody told me. Went and checked it out. Could not find the channel. Found other people taking her videos and using them. Somebody has one called a Fleet Topic or something like that, and they're just pretty much posting her stuff. And can't find the channel. No idea where the channel is. So if anybody talks to Fleet, my advice would be to immediately upload onto Spotify every single thing, get monetized over there, and keep the show going nonstop. But yes, that did happen. Very, very weird. Someone in the chat said something about scamming. I've never seen any scams. These are just videos, animations, songs. There's no scams. You know, she's not a crypto guy. She's not a manosphere guy selling coaching programs of like, you know, I'm going to show you how to like date 6 girls at the same time. She's not that type of person. So that's not happening. But yeah, no idea what happened there. Very, very weird. But also like sometimes they don't give you any reason, but sometimes they do. So there's many things that like I just have no idea. Was there strikes on the account? If there were, how many were there? Because that's termination. Was it a certain video? Is there anything that could be confused with a little bit, you know, risque body wise? You know, like I can't even use the word, but you know, frontal. You know, is there anything like that? I have no idea. So that's the stuff you really got to figure out there. Hopefully she just says more about it. But if that was me, right on to the next platform, like right away. You got to keep the show going, you know? Let's jump in here really quick. I'm looking at Travis's thing here. Man, Blake really wanted that airtime. I mean, for those of you that don't know, as we get into the whole Blake thing, we'll also share this buymeacoffee.com/Coach Colin. It helps tremendously. That is a part of the channel. We do read those afterwards, so you can go and do that. You got unlimited characters over there and whatnot, so that's up to you. You don't have to, because the super chats are firing on all super chats. Okay, don't correct me there. I meant to say that anyway. Let's jump in here. I'll make sure to tag that for everybody, and let's just jump into the whole Blake thing. Now, for a lot of people who do not know about Blake Bednarz, for those of you that don't know, he was a guy who had a lot of different theories. Not a well, you know, he had a few different theories, and he always felt like Candace should be talking about his theories. And it was like to the point where we would all watch, everybody watches Candace, right? And if she wasn't talking about something that he said or he brought up, he would be pissed. He'd be like, this is a yawn fest. Why isn't she showing this? Why isn't she showing that? And, you know, a lot of people, myself included, were like, if you have a thing, just show the thing. Like if you have info and you've sent it to her and you're not seeing it on display quick enough, just go show it to everybody. You know, camera, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking how it's not skewed. I have to fix it. Do I have ADHD? I have to fix this. Hold on a second. Hold on. We need it in the middle. I mean, is that too much to ask? It's still a little off. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on, guys. You got to get it right in the middle there. Just give me 1 second. Is that it? Is it in the middle now? Close enough. Anyway, so we would always say, this is really live. No, I'm on caffeine. 6 ounces of coffee? No. Today, we do 12 ounces of coffee. And I think it's espresso. But anyway, we would always say, you know, do your own investigation. Like, don't depend on Candace to post your stuff. That's not how it works, right? Great example, Baron. Baron's the greatest example. Baron doesn't say, hey, we got to get this over to Candace. Baron's like, we're going to have a hell of a show. And he just does his thing, right? So a lot of people didn't like how Blake was going about things. They were pretty upset about the whole thing. He even attacked me. He said that I was a Fed because I called him out because he was like, you know, what's with Candace, and he would deactivate his accounts. Jason Goodman doxed him. I think it was Jason Goodman. I can't be 100% sure, but an investigator doxed him. He deleted his accounts. He came back. Then recently with Jesse, he was supposed to go live with Jesse, then canceled last minute, said it was because there was an intervention with his family. And the intervention was not about any type of substance. It was about the fact that he is covering the Charlie Kirk case. His family didn't like that, apparently. Jesse says that is a very real thing. It wasn't like a made-up excuse. And yeah, so he's just kind of all over the place. I got to be honest. There's a lot of people who feel like he's a honeypot, right? There's a lot of people are saying Blake is a honeypot. Good thing no one believed his ridiculous theory. A lot of people did believe his theory, actually. You know, it wasn't like he was just throwing it out there with no proof. He was like zooming in and he was showing you exactly what he thought. You know, again, we had our back and forth or whatever, but it's not like he just had, you know, it wasn't just coming off the top of his head. He was showing his work for sure. And also serious insult to call a man a honeypot. You don't do that. Okay. Who is this? Lisa Logic? Lisa Logic, I don't know you, but you don't call a man. Listen, I know it's 2026. You do not call a man a honeypot. That is just uncalled for. You don't do that. Okay. Just get yourself in check a little bit. So also we have this here, and we're going to jump right into the Candace stuff in a second. Candace really finally said Blake's name, and he deactivates his account again. He waited months for this moment. Jeez, he worked so hard just to disappear. This was his time to shine. This is the gentleman right here. Yeah, he's been waiting for a long time, and out of nowhere, he deactivated his account right away as soon as Candace went in on him. And I have to say, would probably do the same thing. I'm just saying, I love you guys, but if Candace dedicates 10 minutes to me, I think I'm done. I'm done, guys. I gotta go. Hey, it's been nice, everybody. Bye-bye. I think I would do the same thing. Terrifying. Someone said that's a terrible picture. It's not a picture, it's a video. I just didn't want to play the video. I can't. Don't just say the oh no, it's actually a song. I can't play it. But it's just someone making fun of him. You know, we all have people who make fun of people. They're playing the song Say My Name because Blake wanted Candace to say his name so much. Anyway, let's jump in and hear what she has to say about Blake. And I have some information, but we'll get into it.
Second character that I find to be even more interesting to the story. So, you know, there were actually people online who did publicly and very clearly accuse Brian Harpole of murdering Charlie Kirk. Okay, it wasn't implied. They weren't like, hey, maybe it was this guy killed Charlie Kirk directly. Forget a meeting at Fort Huachuca. It was, this is our guy, Brian Harpole. He pulled the trigger or pulled something. And yet mysteriously, I've been sort of watching and paying attention, and those people are not being sued for defamation. People that were making videos claiming that he did that, right? That's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. Wouldn't you at first sue the person that's just so clear cut saying that you murdered someone? And in multiple videos, Baron Coleman actually noted this discrepancy, if you will, on his podcast. Take a listen.
Owens, can we just talk about how Baron Coleman is getting his flowers from Candace? Absolutely incredible. I don't know if you guys know, he was named the 33rd in the podcast listing. He broke into the top 50. Now he's at number 53. I believe now he's at number 16. Excellent work, sir. If you're watching the podcast, you are doing an incredible job. I mean, in 110 episodes, this guy has shaken up the news world, shaken it up.
Is the most high-profile spreader of baseless Charlie Kirk conspiracy theories, but she is not the only one. I did not yet turn the page when I thought he has to be talking about Blake Bednarz here, because Blake Bednarz basically accuses by name Brian Harpole every single day of murdering Charlie Kirk, like frame by frame. He has a whole video called Judas Harpole. Like, for crying out loud, if you're going to sue anybody, Candace had somebody on and she was like, yeah, that's a close call. I'm not really sure what to make of that. We're going to sue her. And Blake Bednarz out here going, yeah, Brian Harpole, he did it. He absolutely did it. You can't tell me he didn't do it. Here's video of him doing it. Here's where he squeezed his hand. He's the one that did it. All up and down X, all over the X spaces, all over YouTube. And they're like, and then I thought, well, maybe they don't know about it because, you know, Brian doesn't have a huge following. It's sizable, but it's not huge. So maybe he didn't know about No, he does. He does. It's right there. It's literally on the screen right there. And it says his name is Brian Harpole. And then it has like action shots. The detonator trigger is under his shirt below his wrist. I mean, it's like an actual arrow pointing exact. The remote controller's in his front right pant pocket.
Wow.
This is what caused, like, he's not opining. He's not giving an opinion. He's telling you this is how the man died. That's what he's telling you.
And yet,
when this is a Baron and Candace tag team on one person. Again, I mean, imagine you're a guy on, you're not even really a YouTuber. You're not big on YouTube. You're just on X. You got like 60, 70,000 followers, not huge traction. And then Candace plays a clip of Baron going in on you. And then Candace proceeds to go in on you. Bye-bye. Yep. I might deactivate too. I kind of understand why he did this whole thing.
No, this Blake Bednarz character is not listed in this lawsuit. There's no action against him. Now, Baron is not exaggerating, by the way. The person he's referring to, full name, Douglas Blake Bednarz. And he certainly did not mince words when he began positing theories about Brian Harpole after Brian's disastrous interview with Sean Ryan. Here are just a random selection of his tweets, Blake Bednarz tweets. He wrote, 1, this is who squeezed the trigger to initiate the detonation under Charlie's shirt. Brian Judas Harpole was wearing the controls under his clothes. I am 1,000,000,000% certain. Well, that might be defamation. Next one. There was never a gun. It was a weapon called a shape charge. Here is who actually detonated the charge under Charlie's t-shirt.
This is crazy. First of all, the full name, he goes by Blake. Candace pulled out the Douglas. Most of us would not know about the Douglas if Candace didn't just say it. When I first heard this, I was like, wow. I'm like, so this guy is going to get sued? If he doesn't get sued now, it looks weird. It looks very weird because they're between Baron and Candace, they have laid out a pretty solid case of why are you going after Candace and not after this guy? I mean, wow. And again, this is what he wanted. He wanted it for the longest time. He wanted Candace to talk about his theories and his videos, and now she's doing it. And he's like, oh no, not like this. See, this is the thing with Blake. This is the thing. He wanted Candace to say this. That's what it seemed like. When it came to the footage, because he actually released a conversation with her, a private conversation. He wanted her to say this and to show this stuff, but it seems like he didn't really want her to say this is what Blake thinks. He wanted that what he thought and his theory to be a part of her investigation and to be a road that she went down. That's what it seemed like. This is from me watching in the background, just kind of watching what was going on with Blake and everything. So
his name is Brian Harpole from Dallas, Texas. Okay, third time. Blake Bednarz writes, a gun was never fired and a bullet did not hit his neck. The pendant-shaped charge was detonated by Brian Harpole. This is why the necklace was such a central focus. Right after the incident, Erica and Frank had to establish its existence. That is not the necklace that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Here's another one. What did Brian Harpole have hidden on his person? 2 things. 1, the item in his front right pants pocket is what caused the audio interference. And the item under his shirt below his left armpit is what he squeezed discreetly at the moment that CK was hit. Holy smokes, this is it. Truly, you guys, I could go on and on and on. It was just an everyday beat. Brian Harpole murdered Charlie Kirk, and here's how he did it. From behind his back, holding something, pulling a trigger. Everyone saw this in the Twitterverse. I certainly was aware of this. Here's actually even a clip of Blake making those accusations.
You see this right here? I want you to pay attention to every time with Brian. This is what he does. Anytime he goes and messes with the weapon.
Oh no.
Or the controller or the detonator, the trigger, he is pulling his shirt down because he does not want all the wires to be seen.
Whoa.
So I'm just demonstrating to you, like, if you're lawyers for Brian Harpole, this would be a slam dunk, I would say, right? I'd at the very least send this guy a cease and desist. I'm not one for suing, but I probably would send this guy a cease and desist.
Candace giving the legal advice. This is so funny. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think you guys, I would send a cease and desist. Like, whoa, what do you mean? Hey, what are you doing? but like, I get where they're coming from. And this is something that I talked about a lot when she first brought up the whole Brian Harpole thing. I brought up how there was many people, now I didn't name everybody, but there was many people on X who were talking about the security team way before Candace was. Like, way before. You know, now she's making the point as well. Somebody told me I shouldn't make that point. They're like, you shouldn't really say that people thought about things before Candace did. And I was like, wow, you're a super Candace fan. But I have to do that just to illustrate the point that she was not the first person to think about this. There's many people. I was one of them. I didn't say everything that you just saw Blake say, but I was one of the people where I was like, oh, that footage of like the handoffs. I was like, that's really weird. That's where mints came from. This is a minty channel. We got a mint daddy crew. That's where mints came from, because he said that he was getting mints from Chrissy because she's an angel. And she has a husband named Angel. And she has 3 kids, each one of them named Angel. And they all have mints all the time. I tell you, this family right here is just perfect. So as soon as I saw how they were with mints, and I have a special affinity with mints, I said, y'all have to be on the crew. I don't care if you got security experience or not. You know? That's where it came from. So I get it. I get what she's doing, but wow, was it wild to see live. I don't know how. Maybe you guys didn't know Blake, so maybe it didn't hit like that for you. For me, it was like, whoa, what's happening right now?
So you have to imagine my surprise when I got contacted by Blake Bednarz himself, the man right there. And I learned that Blake Bednarz had been served by Dylan Law Group, but not with a lawsuit, but with a simple preservation order, because they think he might have something that might help to prosecute me in a defamation suit. What? Like, this is... Guys, we are living in upside down land. Okay, this is beyond the realm of sanity. Okay, beyond the realm of sanity here. They know who he is. They're listing him in a lawsuit. They know what he has said, or putting him and demonstrating what he has said, and blaming me. And they're just, it's right there. And then nope. We're suing Candace. Hey, Blake, could you help us? We feel like she talked about this Fort Huachuca meeting, and we're trying to get her.
Weird.
So what actually is happening here? And who even is Douglas Bednarz? So I'll tell you my communications with him. I was introduced to him via someone that I trust very early on in our investigation, when we were in the gathering footage phase. We said to everybody, if you've got any footage, please send it to us, tips@CandaceOwens.com. And a girlfriend of mine contacted me and said, hey, there's this guy who is purporting to have never before seen footage from the UVU event. Mm-hmm. And can I set him up, talk to you? I said, of course. He said that he somehow had a contact that was there at UVU who had everything. So we connected. First thing that was weird was that he wanted to be on FaceTime. He really wanted to be on FaceTime. I thought, okay, that's odd, but okay. We discussed some possible theories. Could this have been an exploding mic? I don't know. Did not discuss Brian Harpole, that's for sure. But then as I kept asking him, like, hey, could you send me that really long footage that you've got? He just kind of never did that. He sent me a clip here, a clip there, a link to somebody else's footage. He just sort of kept kicking the can down the road. And eventually I just felt like something was off. You know, the intuition came on and I said, something's not right here. My spidey senses went up in December, right around the time that we began discussing Fort Huachuca, when he suddenly shifted gears and began sending me stuff about Brian Harpole. and making radical demands that I show the footage, that I show and present what he believes happened about Brian Harpole, basically trying to say that I was a fraud. You got to talk about Brian Harpole. You could find this. It was insane. And also, where's your back footage? Maybe challenging to see if I actually had it. I don't know. But I never took the bait. I always trust my gut. I said, something's not right here. So I'm just not going to reply to you beginning in mid-December. Just didn't respond at all. And I am so grateful that I did not, because it may very well be that they were attempting to set a trap of some description. I'll tell you why I'm getting there with Turning Point USA.
That's wild. A trap being set. Now, speaking of a trap, I just saw a Black Line brief. I just saw that you're in here. Somebody, Krista, says that Blake tried to trap Black Line brief last night, put Matt on the spot, and Matt didn't fall for it, thankfully. Tell us what that's about. Tell us in the chat if you're here what all that's about. That's why I had it pulled up, because I found that interesting. So just wanted to know what all that was. Hit us with it, and then I'll put it up on the screen there. Anyway, let's keep going. And
you let me know if you agree, because, well, someone's going to explicitly say it. I'm going to show you evidence of that, actually. That's definitively what one of the YouTubers said, our military boys who were effectively threatening me to not ask Mitch anything. Don't interview Mitch. Don't speak to Mitch. He's got baby mamas. He's got issues. We're going to blow up your spot. We're going to show everybody what kind of a man he is. Okay, I'm not trying to marry this dude. Just trying to figure out if he was at Fort Huachuca. Let's read some of those messages now to provide you with context. These messages were intended to be delivered to me, right? So this is the YouTube military boys insisting that I speak with them so they could explain to me, because this is their territory. Well, we know military stuff, that this is a case of stolen valor. Mitch wasn't even in the military. He's a fraud. I spoke to an ex-wife who said he never even has ever been to Fort Huachuca in his whole life. That's where we were starting with this. Here's one of those messages I want to read. And so the person saying, dude, he didn't see Erica and Brian Harpole. He's just a con artist. My source at Turning Point USA literally said they have all the documents and proof both Brian and Erica weren't there. And they're purposefully giving Candace rope to hang herself with this while they build a massive defamation lawsuit. Huh? What? That doesn't make... I'm in communication with Turning Point USA during this time. I sat down with Erica this exact week. Why wouldn't you... Does that make any sense? Why would you... This doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking this can't be right. Here's another message. No, she thinks because he went to a military base, that means that his story about seeing Erica and Harpole is somehow credible. Also, it's looking like he's... Wow.
This is very interesting. Very, very interesting how all this is going down. You know, I feel like it was yesterday's episode of Barron. I think he was talking about, like, somebody asked a question about people giving false information and stuff like that. That is a thing to think about, I guess. You know, Joe Rogan talks about that. He talks about how he knows for a fact that people come onto his show and lie to him. They try to push an agenda or lie. He knows. He can tell when it's happening. He says he felt like it's happened a few times. And then he mentioned Kash Patel, but he didn't say he thought Kash Patel was one of them. He's like, and then the FBI director tells you. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, who knows? Who knows? It's very, very, very weird stuff. Very, very weird stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's move on to the next clip here. We have more of Candace just talking about Blake. Don't worry, Black Line. Black Line, I see you trying to defend yourself. People are talking about, like, oh, going against Candace. Don't give in to that. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't give in to that. You don't have to give in to that stuff. And you don't have to message me on here. You can message me privately if you want. It's no problem. I just wanted to know what people were talking about. That's all. And I figured if you were here, yeah. Same thing happened with Corby on Tuesday, was it? Same thing happened with Corby. Corby came out of nowhere in the chat, started breaking things down for us. So just figured. But anyway, let's keep going here. Yeah, we got Candace right here. Not going to pull a Barron. There she is. Oh, no. Almost pulled a Barron. Oh, very close. Very close.
weird to me. It was a weird reaction. It felt like they were threatening me and saying they were going to, as always, ruin my career if I didn't do it their way. They could protect me otherwise. We could protect you, but you need to listen to us and not speak to Mitch anymore. Okay. And they've got a source at Turning Point USA who's saying they're planning it. They're intentionally not answering my questions because they want to give me rope to hang myself while I'm talking to them. Okay. So they're strategically not responding, according to this person, right? According to this military YouTube bro. But I got to say, that's a far cry from what Brian Harpole is now claiming in his lawsuit. In his lawsuit filing, remember, he says the reason they didn't respond to my not one, not two, but 3 separate messages. Remember, here they are. Here are my messages. Hey, Brian, this is Candace. People telling me that you're planning siege regarding a lawsuit. I want to see if you wanted to have an off-record discussion with me about anything, or if you'd like to simply clarify something that you think I got wrong. Hey, Brian, just again, reaching out in case you want to clarify your whereabouts in the morning of September 9th. I'm only interested in the truth. So I'd be happy to debunk Mitch if he perhaps is misremembering the faces he saw. Hey, Brian, reaching out again to see if you'd be willing to speak about the morning of the 9th. I'm obviously not trying to do anything other than debunk Mitch so that I can pivot and refocus the investigation, but I oddly can't get you to confirm or deny if you were there. He says, Brian, in his filing, he's going to say that his reason that he didn't respond to these messages was because he didn't want to grant me an exclusive. He didn't want me to make money off of clicks by telling me yes or no.
He was scared. Come on. If you received messages like that from Candace Owens, wouldn't you be like, oh no, like I don't know if I should answer this. I don't know if I'd answer. I like Candace. And if she messaged me, I'd be like, oh, what's that? It's like she's the FBI. I'd be like, am I allowed to leave the country? I have to stay. Where do I have to stay now? Should I answer this? If I answer, am I in trouble? Am I in trouble if I answer? Could this be a part of, I'd be tripping out. Brian Harpole was probably like, oh my God. Oh, then the phone beeps again. He's like, oh my God. Keep this lady away from me. Give me my mints. Keep this lady away from me. Oh God. I get it. It's very intimidating. You know what I mean? Then you don't answer and she gives you this face. Hands behind your back. Oh no. Yeah, terrifying. I completely understand where Brian's coming from there.
You guys buying that? And I also was wondering, like, who was the source for these military bro YouTubers? Who is the Turning Point USA source telling them that they're intentionally not responding and they want to plot a lawsuit? Well, you guys remember. The answer arrived somewhat accidentally. You'll recall when YouTuber Paramount Tactical, one of the bros, accidentally read Andrew Colvet's text messages live on air. And he said, just a little too quickly. He read the message, and then Andrew said, please don't share publicly, but he had read that out loud. And it was an alibi regarding Fort Huachuca, asserting that the story was insane and that Erica was at home with her children. It was that accidental slip that caused the internet to explode. Because why would Andrew and Erica need to be coordinating a PR message secretly with a relatively unknown YouTuber when they were both in communication with me at that time? Erica and I had just sat down on December 15th. This felt oddly backhanded to me. Also, during our sit down, Erica told me that she was no longer using Andrew as PR because he kept going rogue. Well, here we had proof that he wasn't going rogue because it was a photo of her sending him a picture alibi of her covering her phone with her kids on the wrong date. Here it is. And dinner. So I'm going, what's going on? Why is he the secret Turning Point USA source coordinating? Why isn't Erica just texting me saying, hey, we saw your show. Just wanted to let you know, she wasn't there. So this arrived as a double whammy, right? Everyone was acting really weird about Fort Huachuca. They still are. So I set about finding out by way of messaging both Andrew Colvet and Justin Strife about Fort Huachuca on December 27th after we realized that Andrew Colvet was the one working on this messaging. And here is what I wrote to Justin Strife and Andrew Colvet in a group text. I wrote, putting you both on a chat here, since there seems to be a gap between what Andrew communicates publicly and what the truth is.
Oh, God.
Very simple request. Mitch Snow is very certain he saw Brian Harpole departing a meeting at Fort Huachuca around 7:30 a.m. on September 9th. I went out to Brian Harpole to debunk that and have not received a response. If you would like to submit something to me, a video of his metadata, text messages, etc., I would be happy to publicly debunk that. Not as crucial in my opinion, because he never said that she was a part of the meeting, but he also believes that he saw Erica departing a hotel on the base on September 8th, accompanied by a special forces looking guy. This would have been around 6:45 p.m. If Andrew would like to debunk that formally, please do. I'm happy to update everyone so he and Erica do not need to back channel through obscure YouTubers. There is also now residual confusion because Andrew messaged Gary, that's Paramount Tactical, stating that Erica was with Charlie on the 9th at the office all day. But Erica herself told Jesse Waters that Charlie was at the office all day and never said that she was with him. She said that they had dinner that night together, which I am aware of. Ooh, lost my place here. Dinner that night together, which I am aware of because it was with Father Klein. Gary has confirmed to me that Andrew's messages are related to Erica's schedule on the 9th and not the 8th. I honestly was not as interested in his sighting of Erica. But this is now blowing up due to Andrew getting caught communicating with these YouTubers and making matters more confusing. That's exactly how I felt. I felt like this is getting weird now. Like, why? This is such he wasn't making any accusations against Erica. He just.
I mean, again, just imagine having that. Hey, just putting you both into a chat here. Seems to be somebody lying. Somebody's lying. I'm not sure if it's one of you or someone else, but I just want to get to the bottom of it and have you both here. I'd be like, oh my God, no. Oh no. What did Black Line say? Blake believes and possibly has legit receipts that he sent Candace via WeTransfer. The full UVU review video in September 2025 showed she received and downloaded that night. Yeah, I definitely get that when it comes to the receipts and everything. I definitely understand that. But, my point, even when I first started talking about this, it's like, post your own receipts, man. Like, if you get in, because I know it's funny that he actually says this because that's true. I don't know about the whole downloading and everything, but it is true that he's been talking about this since September. And that's why so many people are like, why don't you just put it out yourself? Why don't you just put it out yourself? Just put it out. You have receipts, put them out. You have a thing you want to zoom in on, put it out yourself. Just put it out there, But for some reason he wouldn't, and it was just a really weird situation. So, I'm not saying he deserves this, but I mean, I definitely say he was asking for this, but just not like this, He didn't think it would be like, well, if someone needs to get sued, I don't understand how it's not this person. Mugshots of my husband. This is ridiculous. Play it, Baron. Baron's like, he's saying it right there. I'm like, oh God. No one's expecting that. No one thinks that they're just chilling at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then all of a sudden Candace is doing that. Oh, no one suspects that happening in their life. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's rough. It's rough. No respect. He's like the Rodney Dangerfield of the investigation space. No respect. I don't get no respect. You hear me? Hope he's okay. Literally, a lot of people are like down on him, but it's like, he is like a guy. He's just a guy, it's not right to like wish terrible things on a guy who's just doing stuff. We're all just making videos, we're all normal people just making videos, diving deep. I don't want to discredit Baron's work, diving deep, putting in man hours. But at the end of the day, we're doing these live broadcasts. We're making videos, So hope he's good, But I can't say that I didn't think it was funny. Sorry, I thought it was really very, very funny. I mean, just saying, just putting it out there. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I couldn't tell you the face I was making as this was playing. I was like, I was driving. Can't look at the phone while I'm driving. I'm like, is this for real? Anyway, let's move on to the next clip we have here. And this is the last one in the Blake saga, I think. And then I'll show you a little bit of information.
If I am a federal judge, a lawsuit like that, which reads like you are trying to get it on the cover of a magazine, would make me a bit upset. I would say you're playing with the courts here. You spent the first 3 pages calling her an anti-Semite. What does this have to do with your claims? What does this have to do with your claims? Anyway, I wanted to show you that because I think there's something weird about the Blake Bednarz piece. Does not make sense to me. I think there is some digging that needs to be done. Everyone all at once started feeling really weird about this guy and how angry he was that no one would perpetuate his claims about Brian Harpole pulling a trigger to murder Charlie Kirk. And I think there's something there. I'll find out, obviously. I'm going to keep digging. We'll keep you updated, and we'll be back after a brief break.
Man. I'm going to find out. I'm going to keep digging. And you know, the thing about it is there's so many people who have had like encounters with him that are like investigators that there might be some people who are willing to help Candace. Like I can only imagine that she got sent a bunch of information after she said that. I can only imagine. Someone said, was he a plant? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, because also you have to remember, like people go through this whole thing where it's like, was this guy like was he like an operative? Was he like sent in? Was he like a Huachuca operative? You know, Mr. Huachuca was like, send out the Blakes, you know, and then Blake Neff and this guy both bust out of a window and they're just coming down, parachuting. I don't know. But like also, you got to remember, people are regular people doing this whole content thing. And some people don't know how to do it properly. Some people think in their head, well, Candace had, like, you know how many messages I get from people? Candace has to see this. You have to get this to Candace and Barron. And it's like, they should just put it out themselves. That's what they should do. But they don't know what to do, or maybe they feel like they don't have the personality, or they don't want their face out there. There's like many things that are like roadblocks for people. But it's like, I don't know, put it out yourself. Everything would have been solved if he just put all this out himself. Which he did at the same time. You know, Candace did play a clip of him talking about it. He did start talking about his own theories. But to just suspect that you send Candace something and you think that she should just be showing it and displaying your theory right away is ludicrous. It's a ludicrous thought process. You know what I mean? That's like me sending Candace, hey, Candace, I noticed you don't talk about mints. You know, there's a whole community of us. We talk about mints a lot, actually. And I don't know. I'm just not seeing it on your channel. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown of how Philadelphia Mint started. It started with Brian Harpole, this girl named Christy. She gives mints. She handed him mints. I just really don't understand why you're not talking about this more. We've been talking about this for months, actually. She'd be like, who are you? She'd be like, Coach, are you out of your mind? I'd be like, well, I'm just... I really don't think you understand. There's a whole Mint Daddy crew, and you know, we share memes and stuff, so I don't really understand why you're not talking about this more. I do a great impression of your husband. I don't know why I haven't been seeing that on your channel that much. I mean, I just think it should be featured kind of daily. No, it's not how it goes. Just not how it goes, guys. But anyway, I'll show you this info. Now, I will say with this Public Bureau of Investigation, right? That's their name. I don't, you know, but they seem like they have it out for Blake a little bit. Look, they even tagged the FBI. That's a bit much. It's a bit much, you know. But who knows, right? You know, Matt, how you say that name? Sarlson, right? So they're tagging him. You may not want to consult with your client regarding Blake. He spent months on X, etc., making egregious accusations. So now this person's doing this. They don't have the date of when they did this, but, you know, they did it. They must have done it. Oh, it says 6 days ago. Okay, so they've been on this since before Candace. Wow. They're pretty good. They seem like they do pretty good work. I don't know them at all. I've seen them around. I think did I follow them? I'm going to follow them after this. On X alone, Blake has 108 posts that reference your reference/target your client. These posts span 18 weeks and do not include posts he might have deleted, audio, X spaces, etc. Other channels, YouTube, meaning on average, he has posted about Mr. Harpole roughly once a day for 4 months straight. Jeez, man. Anyway, let's keep going here. Please find examples of Blake. Like this actually might be. I know he deleted his page after Candace's show, but this could easily be the reason why he deactivated his page. He's like, oh, there's someone going ham on me right now, and they're tagging me with lawyers. You know, that's a scary thing to have happen. And then of course he got doxxed for like his record of sorts. I'm not even going to keep this up there that long. So he got doxxed, you know, his legal records and whatnot, what he's done in the past. Yeah, people just showed that. It really has nothing to do with the case or anything. It's just someone had it out for him. They didn't like him, so they went and did that. Gary actually tried to do that to me. Do you know Gary tried to do that to me? Gary was like, how many times have you been arrested? What's on your record, bud? I was like, I'm not black like that, sir. No, not me. Thank you very much. Not black like that. This is not just my voice. This is my lifestyle, sir. Okay. Credit score is quite high. I don't get arrested. No, sir. Not at all. But he was really like, he wanted to look into my arrest record. I don't have arrest on me. Crazy. Yeah. I got assaulted when I was a kid. That's the only thing you'd see on my record, pretty much. You know, that's about it. Blake, entire personality. Like, yeah, they're really going in on Blake. Blake, I encourage you to do the right thing before the people start to ask the really tough questions, like how you claim to be a pilot without FFA. Like, yeah, this person's diving deep. Gary from Paramount Tactical. Someone doesn't know who Gary is. You don't know who Gary from Paramount Tactical is? That's pretty crazy that you don't know who Gary is. Apparently, he's a descendant of a Kandahar giant. That's what's been said. You know, it's a rumor that's spreading. Apparently, my wife said our smoke alarms have fresh batteries. That's true. One went off one time, and I was like, no. I'm not this person. Nope. This meme doesn't apply to me. I'm like, get the chair, honey. Get the chair. I went out and bought batteries. I'm like, no. We're not going to sleep like this. I'm not. My children will not grow up with the smoke detector beeping. I was very serious about it. So anyway, yeah, just to show that's just a little bit of the information there. That, again, I say that this person has it out for them just so you understand where it's coming from. It seems like they're diving deep, you know, just so you understand that it's not, you know, I always want to make sure people understand what they're seeing when they see content, not just that I'm putting it out there and you should think all these things about him. You have to understand the bias tilt that there could be as well, right? Then this is him. I believe this is him talking about the other conversations he has with Candace. Let's listen to.
Into looking at this plant upstairs on the.
No way he's talking that fast. I have to have it at double speed. I have to. There's no way. That's normal speed? Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was that reaction to myself because I had not put that together at all. Right. And then all it took was that initial when I told her that I had the video. Candace was reaching out immediately.
Right. Yeah, and then we saw the video of you being.
Yeah, one of 5.
Oh, you really seen the other ones? Is there anything interesting in there? Or is it
Oh yeah.
Really? Like what?
The entire context of my excitement and things that she knows is very telling. Let's just put it that way. And then there was I feel like I was deliberately tried to be steered because I remember her really wanting me to go hard into looking at this plant upstairs on it'd be the Fogle Gateway. You know where Jason Chaffetz was? Where Jason, the ex-representative, Fox News correspondent.
Yeah.
You know where he was standing? Mm-hmm. There was a plant that was above there. And this was the big Zeb Boykin theory, but she really wanted me to like dive into getting her stuff, try and find footage of the plant up there. I'm like, I honestly was like, this is crazy. I think I told her that actually. I said, this is crazy. Like,
why did you want to know? And why?
Well, because she was already telling me on the very first call that something exploded. Like she sees it exploding, or maybe it was the second call. And then all of a sudden, we're now trying to go and look somewhere else. And I'm like, it was just weird.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. If you guys don't know what he's talking about there with the plant, she's not talking about AES, that plant that in Tennessee that blew up. She's talking about there is an actual plant. So if Charlie's here, You know how there's an upper part where people are above him? Well, if you go all the way to the, I think, right, if you go all the way to the right, there's a plant. And people thought it was a dude wearing one of those. Is it called the ghillie suit? I think something like that, where you're dressed in like all plants, you know, you're camouflaged and you have all this plants on. So people thought for the longest time that there was a guy under all that, and that guy took the shot. That was the mindset, and that there was an entry, and what we actually saw was an exit wound. That was early in the investigation. That was a very serious lead that people were going down. This guy, John, I think it's John Colin. You know, the guy that disappeared recently? Not recently, months ago. He was doing some Egyptian plane stuff. It was the last video he did, and then he just disappeared. He just stopped making videos, stopped making content altogether. Nobody knows where he is. He was last tracked being in like Thailand or something like that. But he actually exposed that whole theory, and he zoomed in and he got higher resolution footage, and it was just a plant. It was literally just a potted plant just sitting there. And because of the way it looked like a guy with a thing on his head who was like taking it. It was weird. So that's I guess that's a route that Candace wanted to go down at one point. How funny is that? Candace is out there. Candace is more out there than she lets us know, you know? For the longest time, like people were like, oh, the microphone, this, that. Candace wasn't touching the microphone. But probably behind the scenes, she was like, was that a microphone? I mean, the shirt was going up all weird. Was that the microphone? Yeah, she's probably looking into it, right? Only brings us what she thinks. Let me see. Colin posted 5 videos. Yes, Colin, that was it. John Colin was the person's name. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Has he been found yet? Let me know. As far as I know, he just went missing. So the next piece here, again, you know, this is from D. Anderson. Right away, like psyop alert, people were saying that this is actually him. I don't think this is Blake. You know, a lot of people were like, this is him. He was at UVU. I don't think that's him. I think that's just a guy, but you can decide there. I don't know. You think it looks like him? I don't think it looks like him. Zoom in there. I don't think that's him. I don't know. You never know, but you know, anyway. And then the last piece that I'm seeing here, I don't know what this is. Let me see here. Jennifer Snipes Bednarz. This handsome guy, my brother Sean, heads out today, his 4th deployment. May God watch over him. Sean Sipes. See, now I saw this picture. People are connecting this guy to Blake's family and saying that he's been stationed in Fort Huachuca. That was like, you know, that was the thing that I've seen. I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say that this guy is stationed in Fort Huachuca and he's related to Blake through marriage. I don't know if that's true. You know, again, a lot of people, when people don't like someone, a lot of stuff will come out, and people will kind of just ride the wave. That does happen, but I'll bring it to you nonetheless. The only thing I thought was weird was this, when Candace was talking about some kind of trap and turning points, etc., etc. Then this popped up, and I guess this is an actual thing with him at a turning point community church. We are full of joy and happiness because someone just got baptized today. You know what? I don't even want to let's move that. Let's move that actually, just because there's a kid there. I'll read it to you guys though. Just because there's a young kid there, you know, someone, I'll say blank, I don't even want to say his name, was baptized today. Thank you, family, friends, Turning Point Community Church, for being there in support. And then he shouts out someone named JD Smalls and says, thank you, brother. And then that same Jennifer name is there. So I guess he's actually linked to that lady. He actually was attending a Turning Point church. The heading of this video says Blake attends Turning Point Community Church. By the way, I'm sure it's unrelated. And then CC, the CC Louisiana girl. Again, who this is coming from is that person, Public Bureau of Investigation. Okay. I'm going to follow this person. They seem like they're kind of locked in. But again, just bringing you the information that kind of link to what Candace is saying. I feel like when she says she's going to do more digging, I think that's the way she's going to go. I don't know if she's seen that picture yet. I should probably send it to her and absolutely demand that she show it on her show. And if she doesn't, I'm going to be extremely mad. I think that's the way to go. We'll see. We'll see if I actually do that. I think when she talks about a trap and turning point in Fort Huachuca, I think she might go down that rabbit hole. But again, there might not be much of a rabbit hole to go down. So just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, how long we've been at this? Wow. Hour goes by. We'll just do 0 to 55. Always got to pour out some ink for the clip channel. I should be using this beautiful pen, but I haven't. You know, sometimes a ugly pen just does the job. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep going here. We have Candace going at Jeremy boring. I mean, literally such a boring dude, you know? No offense to him whatsoever, but I had to watch the podcast that really ticked Candace off, and like, wow, is it just boring? It's very boring to watch, man. Like, he lives up to the name. He really does. Anyway, let's go here. This is the first little thing that I saw from Candace here. And she said this hilarious statement. She said, can we all just take a second to appreciate that this man once thought he was going to rival Walt Disney? Large LOL. Jeremy is an e-girl at heart. Oh, gosh. You know, just sad to just throw that out there. You know, Candace, listen, Candace is pissed. Obviously, she's pissed. But to trample a man's dreams like that, you know, so what if he felt like he could rival Walt Disney? You know, it's okay. Let him have that dream. What are you doing that to him for? Oh, we don't tell you, ladies, but it hurts so much when you trample our dreams. I mean, we keep a brave face, but oh my gosh, when you know one of our dreams and you call it out and you laugh and then you call us an e-girl, oh my gosh, kick us in the crotch. You know what I mean? We'd be happier with that. Ian Carroll even chimes in. He says, I love the army of bots pretending to take Jeremy Boring seriously. It's pretty amazing. The army of bots. I mean, it seems like it. It seems like it. Someone said, please don't show his sofa. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. How right are you? How right are you? You have no idea. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what episode she's angry about. But this sofa is crazy. This sofa is nuts. I mean, here, let's just switch over. I mean, this sofa is out of control. Oh, it's a British flag? Why is it a British flag? What? I mean, the whole thing. The whole thing, man. The whole background. He has a sword in the background. I mean, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. I have no idea what's going on with that sofa. Thank you so much for reminding me about that sofa, Mark Book. Appreciate it. Let's get into this whole thing though. Let's get into this. Now, it all really started flaring up when Jeremy said this. He said this to somebody. He said, you know, when Candace left Daily Wire, blah blah blah, and he said Candace didn't leave Daily Wire. I fired her. You know, that was like the starting of the thing between them. And then she actually got wind of what the episode was about and how he was actually calling out her husband. And he was actually suggesting, hey, maybe there should be people looking into her husband. That is when she got really pissed off. I want to see if I could even find that video. I mean, I'll do a lot of things for you guys. I've watched Joy Reid for an hour straight. I've watched Rachel Maddow for hours. I don't know if I could get through a Jeremy Boring video, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, it's different. At least Joy Reid, she's like a female Officer Tatum. She's just like unhinged. But Boring is just like, oh gosh, you know. Anyway, let's get into the Candace clip here. as she starts talking about Jeremy.
LLCs that were found that you would only be able to find if you, I don't know, paid that LLC, right? Which Daily Wire paid me for years, personal information that I had shared with them. I just knew that this was coming from Daily Wire. They'll never admit it. They'll never admit it. They always pretend it's not them, but I think now the public is seeing how they behave, generally speaking. So imagine my surprise, not at all, when Jeremy took to his show yesterday to essentially platform Laura Loomer's attacks against my husband. Remember, she's been all over the place. My husband hit a guy. She named the guy, pulled up insurance paperwork. I told you, then combined it with another incident and said that we paid off someone to hide the fact that George was, brandishing weapons in a car accident, like I don't know, it was a gangster or something, like the Oxford boys come a long way, that we paid someone to hide this because George was not a citizen.
George being a gangster is the coolest thing that could possibly come out of this entire saga between her and Jigsaw Loomer. If George is actually a gangster like that, just riding down the street, gat in his lap, you know what I mean? Little bit inebriated. How crazy would that be with what we know about? He's just riding down the street and he's just like, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice, laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. You know what I mean? Just listening to gangster rap. Like, what? What? What up, blood? What up, thug? What up, gangster? That's a semi-auto in a vest on my chest. It's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. And sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. Even though that we don't give an F, it's not your birthday. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need. If you feel, let me know if you want to get rubbed. Oh, I can't keep up with the lyrics. This 50 Cent is quite the bloke. Are you kidding me? He gets into a car accident. Oh, this gentleman's messed around with the wrong bloke, hasn't he? Oi! You best get in your car, mate. I'll tell you right now. On my entire bloodline, I will come out there and spill your blood. You know not who I am. I'm George Farmer. Stands on the hood of his car. Big 45 in his hand. You ever seen what a 45 can do to a man? Huh? Hey, blood? You ever seen what a 45 could do to a man? I bet you haven't. And I could show you today. Could you imagine? Whole new respect for him if he could actually do that. If he actually was doing that would be the coolest. That would be the coolest thing in the world. I'd be terrified. George is really Peaky Blinders. Just a gangster, just from a Guy Ritchie movie, you know? Just running the streets of Tennessee, just doing terrible things all the time. Are you kidding? They're just paying people off, crashes into somebody. Shut your mouth. Stay in your car. Roll down your window. Roll it down. Shut your mouth. How much? $6,000. Shove $6,000 in the guy's mouth. Now drive. Oh, I swear on everything. I will put you in the trunk and I will drive this car myself. What? I'd be like, wow. I'd be like, oh my, he really did that? Because people in the UK are gangsters, man. They're gangsters. And they're used to using kitchen knives and stuff. They got machetes, kitchen knives. They have sword fights in the UK. Like, ching, 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 for the honor of my house. Ching, ching, ching. They don't have access to firearms. So I guess they just go off when they get here. They're like, oh, goodness. Isn't this something? Glock 9, you say? In my waist is where it goes, right? How much do I owe you? Give me rounds. Yes. 500 rounds. Yes. God bless America. Yes. Forget the Queen. Right? What? That's what George does? That's why he got with a black chick? He's a, yes, baby mother. Yes, baby mama. How are you? I'm only kidding, darling. Sorry. No. I'm sorry. I was listening to 50 Cent again. I'm so sorry. No. You are the mother of my children. I love you. Of course. No. I got too caught up in the music. That's all. How are you? Yes, the kids? Yes, I will go. Yeah, I'll get it. This image that they're painting of George, he just gets into accidents, gun, drunk, like, you know what I mean? This is like he's just like a gangster from New York, like he's a Crip, from Crenshaw, just doing whatever he wants. That'd be pretty cool. Someone said Candace would be a red bone. Yeah, kind of. You go for the light skin ones, especially when you're a gangster. Like George is. It's just so crazy. Just listening to Mob Deep just running around. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. They scared to death. They scared to look. They shook. Just driving the car. They scared to death. They scared to look. They're shook. Because ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Oi, move. Oh my gosh. Just listening to the coldest gangster music you can possibly find, just listening to NWA. They're trying to hold the N-word down because I'm brown. Just driving around town, just getting in trouble, Oh my gosh. If you see this, George, no disrespect, sir. No disrespect whatsoever. I'm not trying to have a run-in. At all. You might know some gangsters from Essex. You guys don't even know about the UK. You don't even know about Essex. Oh gosh. Essex is a wild place. He might have some friends from there. I don't know. I can't tell from these Jigsaw Loomer stories. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with them? Just getting into all sorts of trouble. What are you, a cowboy? A cowboy from Tennessee? Hey, mate. What'd you say? Say it again. See what happens to you. Don't let the voice fool you, blood. Don't let the voice fool you. Okay? I will hurt you. George threatening people. Paying off crimes. DHS level crimes. That's what he's doing with Candace by his side. Oh my gosh. Just big wads of money. Just, hello, dear. Just counting it up. You know how I get it. Yes. You know how I get it. I got it from the mud, right? The name's Farmer. Get it from the mud. You know me, dear. Sorry, I'll get the money off the table. I'm so sorry. I know money's very dirty. I apologize, honey. I apologize. Sorry. No. Keep your head down. I'm very sorry. I'll put it over here. Sorry about that. How are you? How was your day? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I got so sidetracked. I'm so sorry. There is so much British stuff that you can do when somebody's a gangster like that. I'm at your door, blood. I'm at your door. You guys don't even know. I know all sorts of UK stuff. Straight out of Compton. Straight out of the Lord of Farmers. Coming at you. Straight out of the UK, mate. Straight out of the UK. It was British, just rolling up on other Americans. It was British people like me that built this country. You know that, right? Right? I have the blood of the revolution inside me, mate. Don't you just putting gun fingers to people's heads. You better drive off, mate. You better drive off. Oh man. Anyway, so sorry. Got sidetracked. Let's get back to Candace here. Sorry about that. No one show that to Candace. That's between us, okay, guys? That's between us, please.
This happened. That has been her overarching theme. There's been a lot of other themes too, but let's just stick to this one and hear the way in which Jeremy tries to confirm her story. Listen to his words.
I've read almost every day for a year and change that I left the Daily Wire after bankrupting the company. That's not true. Every single year that I led the Daily Wire, we grew revenue. Every year, year over year, for 10 straight years. My last full quarter as CEO was at that time the biggest quarter in the history of the company. My last full year as CEO was at that time the biggest year in the history of the company, just like the year before it had been, and the year before that, and the year before that. But the lie persists. In recent weeks, public records and documents have surfaced alleging that Candace's husband, George Farmer, was arrested in Nashville in August 2023 for DUI and leaving the scene of an accident. When Candace insists that this has nothing to do with her husband, that it's some completely different George Farmer in Nashville, Tennessee, well, that denial strikes me as pretty audacious. I was first made aware of the arrest and charges, leaving the scene of an accident after wrecking his truck at 3 times the legal limit while carrying a loaded firearm, shortly after it happened, back when Candace still worked for me at the Daily Wire. People who had access to the court documents approached me with them quite early, before the...
Oh, guys, so boring. Wow. Good Lord, man. Just write an essay. Put it on Substack. This is crazy. He's just reading stuff. Like, come on. This is Timu Jordan Peterson over here. Good Lord. What is this?
The situation was resolved. By the time Candace started to engage in more and more evil behavior, the arrest was pretty well known in conservative circles. I was personally approached more than once by people asking me if I would speak out about the charges. In every instance, I refused. Not because I thought Candace's conduct was defensible, far from it, but because I believed then, and still believe, that family should generally be off limits. But of course, Candace doesn't believe family is off limits, just ask Charlie Kirk's widow. And so people now have decided to play by Candace's rules. But here too, the lack of journalism online is very much a part of the story. While the charges are now public knowledge, making Candace's denials look increasingly strained, there's almost no reporting on what actually happened to the case. There's still no reporting on what happened to the charges themselves. Did Candace and George pay to make them go away? Did the police make an error or violate George's rights in some way? Were the charges brought against him found to be untrue? I mean, the police arresting you doesn't mean you're guilty after all. Responsible journalists would be pursuing these questions if there were any responsible journalists left to pursue them.
You guys, if I could just explain to you for a second, I saw red last night. I saw red. Like, I was in a state of, like, let me calm myself down when I saw this. If you just know who Jeremy Boring is, the audacity of the lie that he is telling. So just to break this down, okay? Just to break down what he is asserting. He's asserting that this happened while I was working at the Daily Wire, and someone came to him and wanted a comment or a statement, but they never came to me. They never came to George, and he never told us. Okay, that's what he starts with. Absolutely untrue and a lie and completely made up. There was never an incident that happened while I was at the Daily Wire. I was never contacted. The media about me, like enemy number one. You think they just sat on that? Like, Jeremy, do you want to comment on this? We're not going to reach out to Candace, but would you like to comment on this? He's making it up. Foremost, I just want to say kudos to me for telling you guys that these were the psychos behind the push. Okay. It was beyond obvious. It had all the markings, like I said, of Daily Wire. So what he is doing is that first part is more relevant. He's angry that I told the truth about his spending habit that put the Daily Wire in the financial hole. It's just a fact. He also thinks that you're an idiot, right? He always talks about my rhetoric, my rhetorical tricks, but actually he's playing a rhetoric game here. When he says revenue grew every year while I was there, all that means is we sold more stuff. Okay. Revenue growing means nothing. If you spend $100,000 to take home $50,000, you're in the red. You didn't.
Yeah, honestly, you have Ben Shapiro, who's actually in his prime at the time, right? You have Matt Walsh, who everyone's going crazy over. You have Candace Owens, and you have Brett Cooper. And you're like he's talking about the revenue going up year after year like it was his doing. Like, what? No, you just have an all-star team at the time. That's an all-star. They were killing it. Who didn't like the Daily Wire back in the day? Like, what are we talking about here? From the time he started, it was the most shocking thing. And Breitbart News had that hit of the founder passing away. So then all of a sudden there became this gap. And then Ben was actually going to colleges and like schooling people. And Candace was fresh from PragerU and people knew her from Charlie Kirk. I mean, of course it was going up. You know what I mean? It's like working at Apple and being like, you know, I've actually made billions of dollars. Actually, I was working in the administrative sector of Apple. And, you know, when I was there year after year, we made billions of dollars. It's like, yeah, of course you did. You work for Apple. all you know is winning. You know, they used to be like the Apple of conservative news in general. They were killing. Ben Shapiro's bringing in 170 million views a month. Are you kidding me? And then Candace was doing something similar. And then Matt Walsh is doing something similar. And Michael Knowles was probably just serving them drinks and doing all their laundry. I don't know. What else could he be doing? And then Brett Cooper was killing it. Oh, I actually made sure I actually had some pretty good decisions. Oh, yeah? Like what? The cameras? Hey, guys, this Cam got you some new cameras here. And you're just, that's all you now? The marketing? You didn't need to market. You didn't need to market Candace Owens back when she was at the Daily Wire. You didn't need to market Ben Shapiro. And then they would all sit down together. I mean, come on. You know, Daily Wire used to be something. Let's not be confused here.
Didn't have a good year. Revenue means how much money the company is taking in, but how much it spends matters much more. What is the profit? And Jeremy Boring went for broke after the success, not of what he did, but of what is a woman, of what Matt Walsh did. We had our documentaries. We had a tremendous year. And when money was peak, he decided, this is my time to try to make it in Hollywood again. I failed out of Hollywood. I want to pursue this high school dream. So yeah, if they took in more money than ever before, year after year after year, it doesn't mean anything. And they were selling more stuff year after year after year. And that is what happened. Pendragon, Jeremy's high school dream, drove the company into the ground financially. With a project, I want to be clear that not even Disney Studios would have invested tens of millions of dollars in. That's a tremendous financial risk. He thought it was going to be a roaring success. It was
terrible. It was terrible. I don't think we need Candace to tell us. You know why? Because it was called Pendragon. Okay. I come up with better ideas when I'm doing this podcast. The thing I did with George just now could do better than whatever a Pendragon is. I can make a whole show about George Farmer being a gangster, secretly being a gangster. Like, what are you talking? Running Tennessee, secretly being a gangster. I call it British cowboy. That's what I'll call it. UK cowboy. What are we talking about? Let's do it. Who wants to sign the contract? Comedy Central? Who wants to do this? What are we talking about here? It's crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, it didn't go. George will feed you to the crabs. It's like that scene. You ever seen the Guy Ritchie movie? What was it called? Was it called Snatch? I forget what it was called. It was one of the ones where there was a diamond. Somebody swallowed a diamond or something. There was an old British guy, and he's like, I'm going to feed you to the pigs. You know what these pigs will do? You know what these pigs could eat through? That's George. You ever seen a pig? I quite like farms. Come. You ever seen a pig eat through anything before? Yes, they can pretty much eat through anything. They're quite ravenous, you understand, right? Maybe. I haven't tried it. But maybe they could bite through a femur. You ever think about that? You ever think if they could bite through a femur, right? A hand for sure, right? Maybe a femur. Maybe a wrist bone. Huh? You want to play? You want to play with me? You want to play with me and my money? Candace is just taking care of the kids. Come on, guys. Let's get inside. Daddy, why do people go to the pigs and they don't come back? Never you mind, boy. Never you mind. Yeah. Candace is actually saving Jeremy. That's what's actually happening right now. So Candace is saving Jeremy. You know? George is like, I'm going to call Tate and the boys. We're going to handle this. Yeah, they're in America now. I'm just going to call Tate and the boys. We're going to handle this. This is ridiculous. He's a small man with an ugly couch. And it has our flag on it. And it has my flag on it. You understand, Candace? And he sits his behind on it. Flatulence for sure on my flag. She's just like, just let me do a podcast. I will tear him up on a podcast. You know? Anyway, let's keep going here. I could go for so long on gangster George bits. Have you ever heard this one? It was quite the American classic. It's called Say Hello to My Little Friend. You ever heard that one? Anyway, let's keep going here. It's the last one. This is the last one.
That is where the Daily Wire is at. This is how desperate they are. They have looked into every layer of my life from birth to childhood. They looked into my family, and they can't uncover anything scandalous enough to hurt me. So they are hoping, and I want to be clear, wrongly, of course, that there is now a Hail Mary chance that George and I broke federal law by hiding and willfully lying to the Department of Homeland Security about a DUI conviction. It is utterly untrue. We would have never taken that risk with children, and they will come up dry. So reporters, feel free to look into that. We absolutely would have never lied. Laura is tagging people. Oh, we're calling the DHS. We're going to do this. Feel free to do that. But I want you to truly marinate. Forget Laura Loomer. This is a person who was formerly the CEO of Daily Wire. I want you to truly marinate on how sadistic that is. That he's hoping that he can break up my family. A real reporter should look at that. Why? Because he sunk his company and his career trying to ruin me. That's what they're calling for. That explicitly. We are hopeful this is true. And Laura Loomer is tagging DHS. She is tagging Mark Mullins, the Secretary of Homeland Security, to tell them to look into George for violating federal laws. Okay. So for me, it is the audacity of him using Charlie Kirk, my friend, not his, as a human shield, claiming that he's doing that for Erica. That he's doing something that's actually unusual. Yeah, no, we don't go after family members, but I have to do this for Erica because Candace is going after family members. That's stupid, obviously, because Erica is a public figure and a celebrity. She is not a at-home grieving widow with her kids. Stop pretending like she is. And also stop pretending like the last 3 years of my life has not been about you and your demented stalker pursuits to ruin me and to ruin my family. Shane Cashman said it best on X when he wrote this. He wrote, Jeremy Boring is Ted Bundy doing a Mr. Rogers impression. The entire team, my team, we all worked for Daily Wire. We laughed like this is the most accurate description. Anybody who has been around Jeremy Boring, that is the most accurate description. You can see it in his demeanor. Well, I'm only doing this because of that. Reporters, is journalism still happening?
It's very interesting. If you watch the episode, and I suggest you don't, but if you do watch his episode, he is going into this weird thing where he's talking about how there should be standards, kind of like the same stuff that Jordan Peterson was saying before he got sick, that there should be these standards and that there's no recourse for retractions. If these podcasters, if these outlets say something wrong. And I remember my first thought was like, the mainstream news never, ever, ever apologizes for anything. They never backtrack. You'll never see Rachel Maddow be like, I said safe and effective, and it seems like I was a little. This is never gonna happen. That's crazy. There's nothing like that in place. But for some reason, he's trying to talk like we should have that in place. And in fact, podcasters have that in place more than mainstream news outlets because we have more of an interaction with our audience. So we'll be like, oh, I was wrong about that. And we also know that people don't exactly care all that much. In fact, people kind of like it when you're like, hey, I was wrong. How many people identify with me saying I was hoodwinked? Like, geez, nobody's like, you should know better. You're on camera. You should never get hoodwinked. Everybody's just like, yeah, me too. Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy how they tricked us. It's wild. They still lie all the time. It's wild. So it was a very interesting episode, nonetheless. Just so you know, on X, and yeah, Candace was doing a little bit of an actually voice there. She was like, oh, actually. Because when you're faced with a true nerd, you have no choice but to do that. You have to make that voice. Now, part of it, you guys usually see what she talks about on the show, but there's always a little precursor to what she's going to talk about on the show on X. I shouldn't say always, but a lot of the times you can see her to say something and you're like, oh, this is definitely going to be a focus on her episode. The criminal stupidity. Today, we had to contact the police. It turns out yesterday, May 4th, somebody attempted to impersonate me and open a State Farm account for me and my husband, George. Why? Because when you begin the process of opening an account, State Farm will attach possible cars that match your name throughout the state. This is perhaps why I was quite surprised when two of the actual vehicles that me and my children use were suddenly on the internet. Fortunately, Impersonating someone for the express purpose of accessing information is highly illegal and carries a criminal sentence anywhere. As it were, it is also quite an easy crime to trace, especially if someone is dumb enough to share and watermark their name over what State Farm recognizes is their database of possible cars for you to select. Stay tuned. I sure hope we catch this mysterious predator. Now, obviously, she's talking about Jigsaw. Who else would be devious enough to do this other than Jigsaw? I mean, everybody knows that. Special thank you to State Farm and the local police for their assistance today. There's more, but we'll keep the rest a surprise. So there will be something like this. It would be crazy if she got Jigsaw arrested. It would be the craziest thing. Someone just said straight out of Oxford. Oh my God, you have no idea. You're throwing me off track. I just want to go into that bit so bad. Oh gosh. Anyway, straight out of Oxford. There's a whole song you could make. Okay. So it'd be crazy if she got Jigsaw arrested or even looked into at all. It would be pretty nuts. Then we have Project Constitution talking about Lord Jigsaw playing with fire, doxing scandal. You were dumb enough to watermark your crime. So she actually went and did this, and she put her watermark all over it. So this is exactly what Candace is talking about here. This is something you're not supposed to do, even if you're investigating. I'm pretty sure. Loomer was so mad that she started looking into Project Constitution. And then somebody actually was like, they were like, Colin Campbell, aka Coach Colin, and they like melded me and Project Constitution together. And I was like, what? So they were trying to tell Loomer that like I was Project Constitution. It was very stupid. Anyway, Candace said this. And to be clear, we do not have a State Farm account. So this person wanted to see what cars might attach to the names Candace and or George Farmer in the state of Tennessee. Gratefully, State Farm contacted us, and we were able to confirm they recognized the platform as theirs and the time the attempted breach happened. Wow, that's wild. Yeah, I guess that would be illegal because you're trying to find out what car someone has. Huh. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And then I'm sure you guys all know, as we just keep going here, just through the last part, this was where the fire started. She really, really got upset. So upset that she decided, I am going to make this video and I'm going to go live. So she went live one day. Some of you might have not seen this because you're not on X. I think she shared it on YouTube as well, though. She went live on X, and she made sure that everybody knew what the Daily Wire had been doing. Now I'm going to try and find the one thing that really stood out to me here. Let me see.
Thought that it meant that me and Tucker Carlson were plotting against him. I don't know how Nick Fuentes got into tens of millions of dollars on Pendragon, and it was a financial disaster. I believe he privately began telling Ben that these conspiracies that he was coming up with were true. Namely, Ben believed truly, and Jeremy said that he believed it too, that I was devising some secret plot with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson to bring down the Daily Wire. I was brought into an office after Ben stood up on a table and called me a faux sophisticate. And I was like, what's going on? And they basically wanted me to apologize to Ben for him having insulted me. And then because during that week I had gone on to Tucker Carlson for an appearance that had been planned before Ben got on the table, he somehow in his head thought that it meant that me and Tucker Carlson were plotting against him. I don't know how Nick Fuentes got into the scenario, but they brought me into a room and they questioned me, and I didn't know what to say. I was genuinely 9 months pregnant, and I was so shocked that they even thought this was a plausibility that I was just disturbed by even the insinuation. Obviously, it was not true. I didn't even, at that time, Nick Fuentes wasn't even on social media. He was on like Cozy or something like that, and I was not watching his show at all. And I had only spoken to Nick Fuentes once in my life pertaining to Kanye West about 2 years earlier. And I told them that I was forthcoming and honest. Anyway, when I was fired, my firing docs consisted of, I think it was about 35 points for firing, and all of it read like one long paranoid schizophrenic rant. The first like 5 pages were pictures of Groyper tweets, meaning obviously that they still believed that the conspiracy theory was true and that somehow I was working with Groypers. There was not a shred of proof to this. So among their reasons was Groypers. I think they themselves were the ones that leaked to TMZ that part of the reason was because when I went on Fresh and Fit, they have money that comes in. And I guess when they were talking about Ben Shapiro, there was a register sound, like a cash register sound. I don't know if that's unique to Rumble, if that's a DJ sound. I had never done this show before. In fact, I was given the opportunity to go on the show from the Daily Wire. The PR person said, Fresh and Fit contacted, do you want to do this? I said, sure. And that was a part of the reason I was fired, because a ka-ching sound effect, which they said was anti-Semitic. These are all, I just want you guys to understand, these are all real reasons that I was fired. I had no idea that Fresh and Fit and the noises went on in the background the whole time during when they talked about other people, Christians as well. This was part of the reasons Ben had registered that as an intentional hit against Jews.
That's actually hilarious. I mean, that's very funny, because Rumble just has a sound when somebody, like, if you guys sent a super chat, no sound goes off, but in Rumble, because it is a super chat and there is money involved, it goes cha-ching. And they saw that and they were like, what else could that possibly mean? They're like, you know what that means, huh? That's like black people with the smoke detector beep. It's the same type of thing. It's a dog whistle. It's exactly what that is. Hey, man, everybody likes money. You know, that's how Tucker Carlson would explain it. I've had an affinity for money for a long time, and I don't know about anything in regards to certain people liking money more than others. I think we all like money equally. That's what I've been told. Do you think that there's someone who likes money more than other people? Well, please, I'd love to see them. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Such a ridiculous thing. So unintentionally funny. You bring people in. You guys hear it? You hear the cha-ching? You know what that means, right? What? What do you mean? You okay? You can't just... We all know what cha-ching means, right? Like, relax, bro. Everybody likes money. Everybody likes money. Everybody likes chicken. Everybody likes watermelon. Come on, like, just relax. Cool it. They're fantastic things. Everybody knows. Come on. Everybody's had their smoke detector need a battery change. It's happened to everybody. Come on now. You know. Anyway. So that was the most telling thing of that live stream that she did. That was a very interesting thing, that they actually thought she was working with Nick to take down the Daily Wire. That's very interesting. Now, what was actually going on, she doesn't actually mention this in this, but what was actually going on is they were trying to connect her to Nick so they could make her radioactive, so they could turn and say, listen, this is why we got rid of her. She's attaching herself to an absolutely terrible person and other terrible people, aka Fresh and Fit. She's attaching herself to those people. Those people are horrendous. That's why we had to get rid of her. She's going off the deep end. But in reality, it was just her comments on the Middle East, right? That's really what was going on. Anyways, guys, can we just... Oh, we got to get to Salem. Man, we got to get to Salem really quick. You know, just a quick list of all the Salem people very quickly. Can't believe Candace touched on this. I think Dax did some work on this. I saw various people talk about this whole thing. I'm just going to play this. Oh, no, I think I have to go back a little bit. Just back a little more. Here, check this out.
Okay, it's above board. They're filing and saying they're doing this. We're getting this from them. And the company is going to be run by Brad Parscale. Now, I know Brad Parscale. He's Trump's former campaign manager. I actually met him for the first time with Charlie over lunch. Unforgettable meeting. He was quite arrogant, actually. I don't think he thought we were going to be anything. Thought it kind of treated me and Charlie like we were scrubs early on. Certainly me, like I was a scrub. We had lunch at this private club in DC. Anyway, fast forward, he's now running Clock Tower X. And on their FARA docs, their filing, they list Salem Radio Media Network as the platform which they are going to inject this Israel propagandist narrative into. Okay, here are the docs, the FARA filing here. Now, I should mention that Brad Parscale in January became the chief strategy officer for Salem Media Network. So he's got Clock Tower X, where he's working on behalf of Israel. And now he is the chief strategy officer. He's injecting them into Salem Media Network. And it says right there, the integration of narrative messaging into Salem Media Network properties and aligned distribution channels. This is meant to be a targeted propagandist campaign targeting Gen Z audiences across platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, and other relevant digital and broadcast outlets. And you're going to love Israel. That's
So I just wanted to actually, because she highlights this part, and that is one of the biggest parts, but just at the top of it, it says content production and distribution. So production and delivery of a minimum of 100 root creative assets per month, spanning video, audio, graphic, and written formats. Creation of 5,000 monthly variants of creative. Now, I'm pretty sure that means posts. I think that's just like a more legalese way of saying it, kind of thing. At least 80% of the content is tailored to Gen Z audiences, platforms like TikTok, et cetera, et cetera. Then down here it says paid media campaigns delivering a minimum of 50 million impressions per month with a target average, a CPM. This is cost per, no, sorry, I thought this is cost per click. A CPM under $2 USD across combined budget pool. This is very interesting when you read this. Then it looks down here, search and language operations, market brew. So monthly search engine optimization, SEO, campaigns using market brew, AI platform to improve the visibility and ranking of relevant narratives. So that's pretty much their people and their agenda, like floating to the top, like they're going to make sure that happens. Deliver a minimum of 20 pages per month across priority keywords and search result categories. This is very interesting because when you think of someone like Officer Tatum, right, and you know he is working with this company. When you think about him, you think, isn't it weird that a guy who talks the way he talks started a Substack? Right? Am I wrong? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you have a Substack? Why? Why do you have a Substack? So he has a Substack. Why on earth does he have a Substack? Well, it's because as soon as he aligned with this company, and I think it says from my, let me see this research. I just did a little bit of research here. He got with the company podcast network. He joined Salem Media Group in 2022. So it's been quite some time. He replaced Larry Elder, apparently, which I'm sad to hear Larry Elder was doing that type of thing, but it's expected. So he has to help make all of this happen. This 5,000, this 50 million impressions. You know, his show is a part of this. He has to help make these things happen. He has to do his little part. Monthly analyst of search landscape shifts and adjustments to content placement strategy, deployment of websites and contact to deliver GPT framing results on GPT conversations. Whoa, that's pretty wild too. Monthly consolidated reports covering total spend across client. Okay, so this is where it just gets into the reporting. But these two blocks are very, very important in terms of what's happening, what this place is actually doing. I'll play a little bit more Candace, and I'm going to jump over to just the list of people who are actually a part of this.
what they're going to do. We are here to represent Israel, but we're doing it honestly, and we're telling you we're doing it. Like I said, quite a switch up from what Israel fought. I wonder if there was a reason why they felt comfortable doing this all of a sudden. Talk about that in a little bit. I just want to really underscore here that it is entirely appropriate for us to now state that Salem Media is working as a foreign agent of Israel. Okay. So if you're listening to Salem Podcast, Salem Radio, these documents, you should take a look at them. Like I said, find your church on Faith by Works, find your favorite podcaster that's with Salem, and see if they are criticizing Israel ever at all, no matter what Israel does. See if they seem to have a very fashioned viewpoint regarding Israel, because these documents show you that they have a financial relationship that is structured to benefit Israel. And I got to say, I find that those filings after Charlie Kirk was assassinated to just be weird timing. Like, why did Israel's Foreign Ministry of Affairs suddenly feel this impulse to immediately register these companies? Both of these companies, by the way, be working with Harmeet Dillon Law Group firm to get this done. Okay. Why? Why the hurry? Why the rush? Wasn't Charlie a friend of Israel? Why is Bibi all upset about what must have been some tweets? I don't remember anybody 2 days later asserting, anybody with a big platform, that they killed Charlie Kirk. Where's that chatter coming from? Why is that registering to me as paranoia, like getting ahead of something? And like I said, why this race after Charlie was killed? Because on paper, Charlie was supposed to be this remarkable friend of Israel. We were suddenly getting told that instantly. I mean, for goodness sake, Donald Trump didn't even just post a picture of his dear friend who helped him get elected over 2 cycles holding an American flag. He instead, when Charlie died, decided to tweet out a photo of Charlie hugging an Israel flag and an American flag. It was disgusting. But that's how fast they were with messaging. Hey, don't forget Charlie loved Israel. He just died 5 minutes ago. Here he is. I AI'd him hugging the flag of Israel. Well, if that was just true, it wouldn't require reminding. Americans would have been naturally drawn to support something that Charlie held dear to his heart, especially in the end. You don't need to narrative message for the truth.
Very true. Very, very true. The whole thing's very odd. I didn't even know this thing existed. I heard rumblings about it, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, but I didn't think much of it. So I was like, oh, more things are like, being co-opted. And like, yeah, that's how it works all the time. So Salem Media operates in 2 distinct podcast divisions. They have the Salem Podcast Network, which focuses on conservative talk radio, and they have Salem Christian Media. And they have Salem Christian Media. One more time, while you think about everything that Candace just said. And they have Salem Christian Media. Okay. Which provides evangelical Christian content. Okay. Right. So the podcast, Conservative Talk, it features chart-topping shows such as the Charlie Kirk Show, Hugh Hewitt, I think that's how you say that name, Mike Gallagher podcast, the Trish Reagan Show. Other notable programs is the Todd Strains Show, the Dinesh D'Souza podcast, Timeless Wisdom with Dennis Prager, Town Hall Review, the Chris Stegall Show, my Meeting of Minds, the Eric Mitexis Show, the Michelle Tafoya Show, the Carl Jackson Show, the Schoolo Brothers podcast, the Jenna Ellis Tonight, the Doug Collins podcast, the Situation Report, the Morgan Zeggers Show, the Bryce Eddy Show, the Mike Gallagher Backstage Pass, Dennis and Julie, Mike Crispy, Unafraid, America First. America First? No. What? America First? Isn't that the name of Nick's podcast? Nah, it has to be a different podcast. Has to be. The Christian Outlook, the Daybreak Insider podcast, Rebuilding the Right, Grace and Truth with Owen Stranton. I don't know. Interview with Hugh Hewitt. So I went down here because the last list I saw had Officer Tatum. So I was like, hold on a second. I'll get back to that in a second. So I was like, what about Officer Tatum? And they were like, Officer Tatum, his real name is Brandon Tatum, former officer, conservative commentator whose show, The Officer Tatum Show, is a part of the Salem Media Podcast Network. The Salem Podcast Network. He joined the Salem Media Group in 2022, replacing Larry Elder in the 6 to 9 p.m. EST slot on the Salem Radio Network, the third hour repurposed as a daily podcast. Very interesting. Also, former SWAT team member. If you guys don't know, he was Delta trained SWAT member. Okay. Mama, this Coach Colin looking me up on the internet, talking about how I'm on the SWAT team and telling people that I'm Delta trained. Now, I didn't say Delta trained. I said that someone from Delta came and showed us some things. Mama, I don't know what to do about him. Oh, baby, he seemed like a nice young man. Why don't you go ahead, call him? Go ahead, call him, invite him over for dinner. I heard he's in Texas. Mama, I ain't having him over for dinner. He might try and look at this mountain of evidence I got here. Cash Patel gave it to me himself. Said I could have this mountain of evidence I could look it over, peruse through. I don't want someone like him go and find the mountain of evidence. Oh, baby, don't worry about that mountain of evidence. Friend of the show. I don't care what anybody says. He's always been a friend of the show. Great guy, I'm sure. Fantastic guy. Delta trained. So the Salem Christian Media, I have to just look into this, provides family-friendly, life-changing content for evangelical audience. So this is how they get brainwashed. I was wondering how Charlie got brainwashed the way he did. So this is how. Because this network has control. Like what? Because this network has control. Oh my gosh. They have control of the narrative for the most part, not full control. You can still click whatever you want. Include your daily prayer, the Beckett Cook Show. I think that's how you say that. Beckett Cook Show, your daily Bible verse, and crosswalk talk. Wow. That is interesting. The fact that that company makes that content. That's wild. And they're all a part of it. So many of them. And let's be clear. I mean, I don't know, it seems like while Charlie was alive, Charlie signed up to, they can't force you to do this. Charlie did sign up to be a part of this. You say what you want, but he did make sure to sign up for this. So, there is that. Right? It's not like they took his show. But you know what it also shows me? That's the reason they don't stop his show. Perhaps, I don't know how this works, but if there was a contract to be signed, you'd be bound to that contract. Maybe when he passed away, they were like, we could just keep doing the show. And I don't know if this Salem group pays or anything, but again, maybe that's why they keep the podcast going. I have no idea, but that would make more sense. They're keeping it going because they have to. And they're still fulfilling exactly what Charlie would have fulfilled. Was actually slowly not fulfilling anymore. He's probably going to get to a point where he's kind of breaking the contract. I can only imagine what their contracts say. Please turn my mic up. Absolutely not. A touch. I'm almost at full blast, And then sometimes I yell. So it's like, yeah, you gotta be careful here. You need to turn up your volume. Anyway, put it down a touch, just in case. I might have it too high. You guys don't know. Someone said turn that phone up. Yeah, but that could be why the show has gone on and keeps going on. Just a thought. But there's a whole lot of people caught up in that whole Salem thing. Now, I mean, the company is being honest, right? Candace just showed us the company is actually being honest. But what do you do from there? Do you say, well, it's all good because they're being honest? Or do you say, this is terrifying and I want no part of this at all? There's going to be two camps. Now, the people who are taking in this Zio Ranger slop, I'm sure they're going to have no problem with it. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're going to be like, whatever. You know, they provide good stuff. I love Officer Tatum, you know, but it is something that should be looked out for. Should think about that. You got to really look into who owns what. You know, like a lot of people didn't talk about, I talked about it quite a bit. I made some videos about it, but George Soros bought like 200 radio stations. That's a real thing. You know, he himself, I think it was 246, and they were conservative as well. He made sure to purchase these radio stations. So there's a huge conglomerate of conservative talk radio that's actually owned by George Soros. And then now you see there's actually a section of them that are also podcasts that are also owned by this Salem Media group. I shouldn't say owned by. We should say involved with. I doubt Officer Tatum would actually give up his IP of the Officer Tatum. You know what I mean? That would be a dumb move, right? No matter how much we laugh at him, he's created quite the company in his channel. So interesting, you know? Anyway, let's move on to Baron, ladies and gentlemen. Baron is in the house. Shout out to Baron. Baron notoriously told me last night to go to bed while I was posting on X. He told me it's time to go to bed. And I always listen to my elders. So I promptly went to bed. So in case you're watching, sir, I did go to bed right away. So, you know, hope I'm not grounded or anything here. But he did. He was like, go to bed. I'm like, yeah, he's right. I should go to bed. I'm like, it's like 1 a.m. I'm like, what am I doing right now? You know? But Baron, shout out to Baron. Thank you so much for the good advice. Anyway, let's get into this whole thing. I liked where he was going. The ballroom, data centers, UFO related. I like this side of him. I like this side of him a lot.
Be overly fatalistic or nihilistic on this thing, but what I'm trying to do is raise awareness of what this administration, what your United States House and Senate are doing, what your corporate overlords and executives are doing. They're building these data centers. It's the biggest companies in the world. It's Microsoft, it's X, it's Oracle. But it's more than that. It's a lot of these companies are building these data centers, and the end goal is to imprison you and put you out of work. They don't want people. Mm-hmm. You remember the Georgia Guidestones that talked about keep population of 500 million? I think that's even high. I don't even think they want that many.
I mean, like I said, I like this side. This is my type of stuff right here. Oh, I like this. This is great, man.
They just want data centers running all the time and creating and building everything for the few elites who are able to survive. In the midst of all this, that's when we get this story today. In the midst of all this data center stuff, in the midst of the White House building a data center underneath there, in the midst of one of these data centers, I didn't even say this, one of the data centers they're building in Utah is something like 60 square miles. That's not an exaggeration. I didn't make that number up.
62. It's huge. And they're pissed. And it's because of Kevin O'Leary.
It's 40,000 acres. Mm-hmm. It's multiple times the size of Manhattan.
Oh my gosh. You know what I just realized? Oh my gosh. Wow. I have made oh my gosh. I just realized when he said that, how many acres it is. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos combined have bought up farmland. That's why they're getting rid of the farmland. Those two combined have bought something like more than 500,000 acres of farmland. And everybody was like, why are they doing that? This is years ago. And everybody was like, why are they doing that? That's why. Because they know they have companies that they knew were going to have to gravitate towards AI. They've been working on it for years. Oh my gosh. That's why they have all the farmland. Wow. I didn't even think of that. So I'm pretty sure Bill Gates has like 250,000 acres of farmland. And everybody was like, oh, it's because he's going to like do something bad with food and this and that. No, even worse. Don't say duh like you knew. You didn't know. Where's your video about it? This guy's like, duh. Yeah, duh, now that I said it out loud. Oh my gosh. So they're gonna they're gonna clear all that out and just make data centers. And just so you know, data centers weren't even that much of a thing. Okay. They weren't even that much of a thing when they first bought those data centers. That's why nobody could figure out what they were doing, because they weren't doing anything with the land. It wasn't like they were just like destroying the land. They were just buying up farms and farmland, and they were just buying it up and just having the farms just sit there. That's what they've continued to do. They haven't done construction or anything on the farmland. Wow. And now Microsoft is, they're definitely not the head of AI. They're definitely not. But to have the space for a data center, knowing that someone was going to become president, knowing that you all tech bros were going to help that guy in donating to him, you were going to pledge money to him, to the trillions. Then he puts you on a panel where you can suggest things for AI. Wow. Damn. That's crazy. I would have rathered him do something terrible with food and like start his own terrible farm or whatever. I would have rathered that. Instead, it's going to be data centers that suck up all the water in surrounding areas. That's 100 times worse. Jeez. Anyway, let's keep going here.
That's the data center they're building. And it's going to use as much power every day as Manhattan uses. Look at all those buildings that are powered. All those people that are charging phones and have lights on and air conditioning. All of that is going to be equal to one data center in Utah. 62 square mile data center. How much?
It's actually going to take up twice as much electricity as all of Utah uses right now.
Water is it going to need? How much power is it going to need? Where's the power and water going to come from? So in the midst of all of this news about the data centers, that everybody's just sort of sleepwalking through and not paying any attention to the fact that these data centers are going to fundamentally transform your life, whether you are aware of it or not. And I'm just here to pass along the message. Don't be mad at me. In the midst of all of this news, we get this, and I think it's related. FBI Director Kash Patel confirms UFO files have been delivered for release.
Mm-hmm.
Why now? We still don't have the Epstein files. We still don't have the JFK files. We still don't have the RFK files. We don't have the MLK files. We don't know who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. Why is it so critical that these UFO files are coming out all of a sudden? What's that all about? So a few words about this. There was a group of pastors. Now, I don't want to overstate what they claimed, but I'm going to play a short video of this group of pastors because a congressman from Missouri called in to talk to them. I know Tim Burchett has been talking about this. This other congressman from Missouri, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's been talking about it. But I want you to hear their version of meeting together to talk about this and what their plan is to talk about the UFO disclosures that it sounds like are coming. Before we get to the content of what those disclosures might actually be, I want you to hear their version of what they think is necessary to get ready for this. This is from a guy named Perry Stone.
So Perry Stone, when he starts talking about this, it's funny because my friend who's actually big in the disclosure UAP, UFO type of thing, he sent this to me, or he sent me some kind of thing. I won't say what it was, but he sent me something about this, about pastors getting what I would call re-education, because that's actually what's happening. They're getting educated on what to tell people, right? The same way Turning Point Faith has 4,000 pastors, and a lot of those pastors take trips to the Middle East, and they ain't going to Jordan. A lot of the ways there was 10,000 pastors that were pushed to go to the Middle East, and they weren't visiting Saudi Arabia. They go and they get this education so they can come back. They get retooled. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So they could come back with a certain message or agenda. That's what's happening now with these pastors. I think they're being sent out there or sent to wherever, and they're getting told about what they are to talk about, what they are to discuss. I don't think they're being told the truth. Whether or not they know they're not being told the truth and they're doing it maliciously to their congregations, I don't know. But they're coming back with a Fugazi story. That's what they're coming back with. Crazy. The amount of re-education that's happening right now. In both ways, right? In good ways and bad ways. Bad ways, like, pastors getting sent out to be like, okay, so this is what's happening with aliens, right? Why does a pastor even need to be prepared in that sense? The pastor, the priest, should already be prepared. What is he prepared with? The Bible. What are we talking about here? You have the book. You're good. You read that book, and that's how you prepare. That's how you prepare for everything, especially when you're a pastor. Well, I mean, usually what we like to do is we like to have the Bible, but sometimes we got to go to the government. The government has to tell us exactly what. Are you good? You have scripture. That's what they're supposed to point to. They're supposed to connect what's going on in our everyday lives. They're supposed to connect it to scripture. That's what good pastors do. They're not supposed to connect it to what they were told when they went over to a building, some bureau headquarters or whatever, or paperwork that they were delivered that are soaked in honey because Kash Patel was handling them. That's not what they're supposed to do. That's not what they're supposed to do at all. This is crazy. I almost did a Tucker laugh there. It's crazy. This is crazy. I'll hear what he has to say, but I already know what it is. I've been making videos about this stuff for a long time. I know exactly what's coming.
I had a friend that sent me a text message. I was in a meeting, a weekend meeting, preaching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And he said, Perry, can you give me a call? I have some information that has come to my attention. Of course, when a friend of yours does that you know quite well, you have no idea what information they're talking about. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released.
See, that's what I mean. Like, why do they have to? You have to prepare your people and you have to answer them. So who's giving them the answers? So now they're getting loaded with answers from whoever this is in the gov. That's crazy. That's a crazy notion. I don't even know if I would if I was a pastor, somebody was like, well, the government would like to, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm fine. We're tax exempt. There's no need for them to be talking to us. I'm okay. I'm okay. I have a meeting with Jesus at 5, so I got to go. Okay. That'd be it. That'd be it. I'm not going. I'm not talking with you and you're going to prepare me. Like, what? The Bible, guys. That's the thing, I'm not even like a crazy Bible thumper, but I mean, come on, you're a pastor. You're a pastor and the Bible's not the answer. You have to go and ask these guys and see what's going on and hear them out a little bit. Why? You don't have to do that. They're men. They're flesh and blood. You don't have to do that. That's crazy. So now what are you going to hear from them? Because in reality, the only people who can't get pushed into this whole thing are the people who are believers. They can't get bought by this whole thing because they're just like, well, I got my Bible and I read the Revelation and I've heard all this before. I know what's coming. I know the deception that's coming. I know. I understand. They're fully ready for it. So why on earth? And that's another thing. See, I've made many videos about this. You guys, if you guys are just following the channel for a few months, you can go back like 8 months. I have a lot of videos about UFOs being demons. A lot. And here's the thing. As they're being prepared, as they're being re-educated, maybe that's the reason. Hey, just so you know, you already have this teaching. You already have this where you're going to recognize these as demons. We're just here to let you know that they're actually aliens. That's all. They're actually aliens. There's no occult vibe to this. There's no evil side to this. These are just aliens, and they're very, very intelligent, and they're coming around. And we just want you to prepare your people. We want you to prepare your people to turn away from the scripture that they've been engaged in for their entire lives. So our narrative makes more sense than the Bible's narrative. Come on, man. That's crazy. Oh, man. Yep. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, I'll play a little bit more.
And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book.
Sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book. Did you hear the part where he said we have to start preparing our people?
Yes, sir.
Let me just say first out, I believe almost nothing the government says. So I'm not eagerly anticipating this UFO release. They've been lying to us about these crafts, about these beings, the Roswell, people going missing in national parks. They've been lying to us about these things for decades. Why would
listen to Baron? I love it.
They all of a sudden, out of the goodness of their heart, say, now's the time we're going to roll out the truth. We think humanity, we didn't believe in the 1950s you were ready for the truth. Through the 1960s and 70s, you were not ready for the truth. Everyone knows you weren't ready for the truth in the 80s. We watched the movie Wall Street. You weren't ready for the truth back then. The 90s was like a drug-fueled crime spree. You weren't ready for the truth back in the 90s. In the post-9/11 era, absolutely not ready for the truth. Not when we're doing multi-front wars in Iraq and Afghanistan for 20 years. No. You're not ready for the truth at that time. Now, 2026, now you're ready. Now we're going to roll it out. Oh, but maybe it's just Donald Trump. No. Donald Trump was president in 2016 or 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and the first part of 2021. If it was Donald Trump out of the goodness of his heart just wanting to release UFO information, he would have done it 8 years ago.
Yep. Whew, man, this is nuts that they're trying to do this. Would have released it 8 years ago. That's for darn sure. They've had a lot of time. They're not interested in releasing that information. Tucker's talked about this extensively. Tucker has talked about this with Sean Ryan. He's talked about what he thinks it is. He's broken it down quite a bit. He thinks that they are the government works with them, and they don't want you to know that because they're not actually super intelligent aliens. They're actually something that's more crafted. I shouldn't say crafted through the occult, but they're engaged in via the occult. because they are something that is more demon than super intelligent species. And also, you could call, especially to a mere mortal, you could call a demon a super intelligent species. You know, based on what we know about them. So, anyway, let's keep on going here. Go to the next one where he talks a little bit more about data centers. Here, let me play this really quick.
Baron, I really don't want to drag Larry Bird into this, but it sure seems like data centers land on or are near the 33rd parallel north. Christ is king. Well, let me go back and look at that map. That kind of. I don't know. Does the 33rd run through Texas and Georgia? Let me look at where it is. 33rd, 33° north. Where is that?
I can't even believe he's looking this up. Baron hates 33.
Yeah, they kind of do, don't they? Yeah, good call. Good call. I didn't notice that myself. Well, what's Larry Bird ever done to you?
That's hilarious. That's very interesting. I know Baron doesn't like that 33 stuff. He even said he's like it's a number, you know. Gets pissed when people are like, "What did you say, 33?" Yeah, he doesn't like it. Let me see what else we got here. What is this one? What is this one? Is this one where he talks about me? Someone said he talks about me. We'll see that last. I want to just go through this last one here. Shows a video where they say disclosure is Jesus. Oh God. See, this is something that Joe, I'm telling you, I've done so many videos on this. This is something that Joe Rogan's been saying for a long time. And take it from me, someone who was watching every one of Joe's episodes twice. He has brought up AI being God or running the government every episode for at least 200 episodes. Every single one, at some point, he will say that it could be God. He's like, what are we making? We're making a God, and this thing will be God. Or he'll say it's Jesus. It's like the second coming. Why couldn't the second coming be coming through AI? Through, you know what I mean? It's just, oh gosh. Anyway. That's the one thing that annoys me quite a bit when people start doing that.
Maybe they're going to show us CT images of what look like alien beings. Whew. Are they real? I don't know. Is it AI? I don't know. But I think it's being designed for a particular purpose. I think the release is for a particular purpose. I'm going to show you the response of people who were in this meeting. And I tend to agree with their conclusion of why they think this is being released and what they think the result is intended.
You and I recently just had a clandestine meeting in the middle of the woods, Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee.
Yep.
And it was a very serious meeting. I mean, we're not having this conversation today just because we're trying to find something to talk about.
Yep.
This was some information that filled in some spaces, filled in some holes with people who know what they're talking about. We had to turn our phones on airplane mode.
We did.
This was a very, I don't want to say confidential. Very confidential meeting.
It was.
So we're going to be in a veiled way because there's some things we can't disclose.
That's right.
That we're going to be sharing some things that we learned in the last 24 hours.
First of all, we were approached because of both of our programs.
Yes.
And some of the prophetic things I've shared and the reams of information you've put out over the several years. They are gearing us up for the great deception that I believe what they're going to release is going to so fit the narrative. They're going to say Jesus was a spirit, enlightened being that came down, however they frame it with their terminology. He came down and he was one of these star people. And they're going to go down this whole avenue and they're going to try to lay over scripture, all of their narrative, which is really demonic in origin. Can you share some of that?
Yeah, and they're not going to be defamatory. They're not going to attack Christianity. They're going to say, you're close.
You're close. That is where I think this is headed.
Yep, definitely.
That's where I think this is headed. You're close. That's why I thought it was important to share, because these releases are coming. They're going to release something and
it's not just going to be you're close, but it's going to be you're close and these creatures can actually take you a little further. because they're really intelligent. Their species has existed far before humans. They're going to be able to take you the rest of the way, right? And I'm just talking about what has been being said for decades, talking about an intergalactic alliance of sorts. And in order for human beings to be a part of it, that they have to give up foolish things like religion, like war, like firearms, like everything, because they have to evolve past all of that. And we're going to be trusting these super intelligent beings, but they're actually going to be demons. That's how that's going to go. That's my thought process. Anyway, very interesting episode by Baron. I'll play a little bit more.
Kash Patel is readying the release. It's important to note Kash is not a Christian. It's being released by the president of the United States. I think I can probably say the president's not a Christian. He said he didn't think he was going to heaven. I mean, what do you make of that? I don't know. You tell me. I think this is meant to destroy faith. This is meant to attack your faith, but in a very like, oh, no. We're just here to help explain what it is you believe. That's all. We're giving you, we're just spoon feeding you. We want you to be more enlightened.
Yes, exactly.
We want you to understand your Christian faith a little better. Jesus was real. But he came from outer space. His message came from outer space. Yeah, but he was real. What they wrote about him, all the things he said, it was true. He just was trying to tell you a better way to live. And when they thought he rose from the dead because he was taken back to space. That's why they said,
oh yeah. He's on it. He's 100% on it. He's right. He's 100% right. 100% right. The person who was giving me these timestamps, they said I had to see this. Well, what's this about?
StreamYard. But that's the one I see. But thank you. Trump destroying the East Wing of the White House and dumping it on a public golf course is so brazen. Asbestos and toxic chemicals in air need to be hosed down to dampen it. So wrong on many levels. White House does not even belong to him to destroy. I didn't know what he did with it. Is that what he did? He put it on a golf course? Kind of chaotic. The Puyallup Fair was a location of consent ration in the 40s. We should ask CC to pronounce it and see how many variations he comes up with. Coach Colin?
Wow.
I want Coach Colin to pronounce it as Brandon Tatum. His Brandon Tatum impersonation, I can't do that. I can't get away with that. I'm too fair.
Yeah. No.
Fair meaning complected, not meaning, like fair and balanced. People would accuse me of being ugly if I did that. But his Brandon Tatum impersonations are hilarious. And they're hilarious because they're grounded in truth. Because when he does it, it sounds just like him. That's amazing.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Your humble host, ladies and gentlemen, your humble host. Now, there was a little bit more of a back and forth here with Candace and Blake. I'm telling you, Candace was giving everybody the smoke. She wasn't playing around. So Blake ended up saying this. Candace is now complaining that the boss who fired her is a literal deranged stalker. Here is a set of her recent live streams, by the way. So this is where she actually says that. And then he goes here and shows how much she talks about Erica Kirk, basically the series, right? Blake is really trying to make a point here. Little does he know, Candace is always ready for the smoke. She says, really great to hear, Blake. Great to have you here, Blake. Okay, she's wrote here wrong. Any chance you can comment on why you won't release the video of Charlie announcing he wanted Erica to become CEO and chairman after he passed away? Donors claim this never happened. Seems easy to clear up. Then Blake just reposts this and literally reposting what he already said. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, anybody who uses the white background for X, you're out of your mind. You're a crazy person. If you're not on dark mode, you're an absolute crazy person. Okay. Straight up, you're a maniac. Candace, we haven't bothered playing it because, okay, this is where he just calls her a psycho. You believe in 33. You believe 33 is an actual number. You're a crazy person. We can't show you videos. You show the donors videos, though. So then John Mappin steps in, notorious Turning Point donor, one of the first. He says, "Dear Blake, the donors to which Candace is referred to also called me in completely in shock, as these donors that we personally introduced. These are donors that we personally introduced to Charlie and to Turning Point directly. I do feel that you owe it to them and to other donors to back up your statement, Blake. People who have backed Charlie with a considerable amount of money do deserve to be shown the video that you say you have. I'm not suggesting that you are being untruthful about having it. My interest is simply in the truth being clearly and cleanly and ethically presented. Kind regards, John." And just so you know, Blake doesn't respond to this. This is where Blake just kind of walks back into his hole. Perhaps the best solution is for the donors to pursue the video. I would imagine they might privately send the video with people who have donated a ton of money to Turning Point. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And of course, Blake did not respond. Just in case you guys are a little flabbergasted about that whole thing. Blake does not respond to this. If the donors do start actually turning to Blake and saying, "Hey, can we see the video? Because you said there's a video." It's not going to go well. I think. Again, like John, not claiming that he's not being truthful, but I just don't see it happening myself. They could have it the whole time. It could, just because, Candace is crazy and he doesn't want to show it to a crazy person. I understand. One of the last things I want to show you guys. Ian says, "Tomorrow's news today." Erica says, "First time hearing of it." Click through. Erica says, "First time hearing about it." And this is to this person, this guy Chase. He says, "Erica will step down from her role in Turning Point." Erica says, "First time hearing of it." So there you go. Erica is not stepping down, unless it's literally the first she's hearing about it and she's like the last one to know. Like Stacey Sheridan already planned it. She's like, yeah, she's stepping down. Don't worry about it. She gets told last. She's like, "Here, we need you to read this." She's like, "Oh, what am I reading today? Stepping down? Huh? Yeah, just go ahead and read it in front of the camera. Don't do the eyes this time, please." So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Seems like she doesn't want to, right? She doesn't often speak. On X. She doesn't often speak. So we'll see. We will see. Anyway, it keeps getting better. Let's move. Oh, and then we have Frank Turek here defending her. Defending Erica's honor. Oh, and then we have this. We don't have time for all that. We just don't have time for all that today. Oh, and then we have the data center. Oh man, there's so much we don't have time for. Okay, I gotta push this stuff back because we got to get into coffees. We got to get into coffees. We got to get into super chats. I have a meeting today. So I gotta go. And honestly, people are talking about Fleet's channel being gone. This is the only thing that I could think of in my head, is that this was posted, right? So this is Blake. He's like, honestly, some of the stuff from our haters is pretty good. And this is like just something, right? And this is like nothing. But then this guy, I made sure to leave the conversation. This is why I don't like people randomly tagging me in things. This guy, Adam AZ, says, "I did think this Coach Colin animation by Fleet was pretty funny. Sure, you laughed a bit when you saw it. It brightened my day. Then it was the video. And then Blake actually watched it and he took a screenshot of it. So he actually watched it. I don't like being on those radars. I do not like that. I hate being on the radars like that." But he said 100%, "I should get a magnet of this or something." So maybe he liked it. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Because I see some people suggesting that Erica went and took Fleet down. I don't know. Anyway. Because didn't this happen with Barron? Didn't Barron have a back and forth? I can't put this on him, but Barron had a back and forth with somebody. And then the next day, one of his streams got taken down. I forget who he had the back and forth with on X. But it was right around the time I was like, hey guys, you shouldn't tag every single person. You shouldn't tag every single person that, you know, all the time when it comes to Baron stuff. I'm like, you should let him make that decision if he wants all those people to see it. And he's clearly made his, you know, he's ready for war. You know, he's ready for it, obviously. But the next day, his stream got taken down after that. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. I don't know. Yeah, he said a magnet or something. I don't know. Because it's like a, you know, it's a cute image of him, you know? It's a cute image of him. Anyway. And it is kind of cute, you know? But there you go. So we'll see what happens with that whole thing. But weird stuff. Anyway, we got to get to the coffees. We got to get to the where there's the share button. There it is. We should get to the super chats first. This time. We go back and forth. Sometimes I do coffees first, sometimes I do super chats first. Let me go here. I gotta go big screen. I can't read it that small. Jeremy's bent key unlocks a straight padlock. And it's to a closet, right? Hicks, CJ Hicks, CJE Hicks becomes a member. Thank you very much. Laura is a four-letter word. Be very careful what you wish for, Douglas. Yeah, with Blake. I mean, she's the other Blake B, not Blake N. You know, so crazy. My late bestie, Leslie, used to say, condolences to you for your friend. There's no such thing as bad publicity. The internet's is Judas waiting for you to F around and find out. Douglas just got served a big serving of F around and find out. Yeah, I mean, he was asking for it for the longest time. Gifted a membership. Thank you, Mark Book. Appreciate it. To T Koala, I was bewildered and mystified to find out that the ossifer the way you guys write things, I like saying it, but the way you guys write it is hilarious. Officer Tatum has almost 4 million subscribers. Absolutely discombobulating. Well, yeah, he's been at it for a long time. Listen, I'm a subscriber. I'm a subscriber to Officer Tatum. I have been for a while, for years. You know, it was suddenly that he made this big turn and is what we know him to be now. But I mean, for a while, he was the guy who's calling out, you know, culture war stuff. He was deep into the culture war stuff. He still is. So he was like Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh with like an Ebonics version of Matt Walsh. That's what he was like. That's what he's always been like, you know. Anyway, but yeah, he has a lot of subscribers. Yeah, I'm telling you, he's created quite the beast. In terms of channels, it's not easy to do what he's done. That is not an easy task to just build that type of audience. Which is why I would think they would want him. You know, he's somebody who has a good chunk of the conservative movement does listen to him, and they appreciate his work. Sorry, what was this one? Pointing finger at Blake was a weak move by Candace Owens, in my opinion. I don't think so. You know, because you know why she's doing it. If you listen to the whole thing, it's because she thinks that he was setting a trap. So the real question becomes, if he was setting some kind of trap and he was working with them, then you have to call it out to say, okay, what's going on? Why are you going after me when this guy has been saying all this stuff? Is it because you're working with this guy? And if they go and they ignore this right now, well, then it kind of highlights that a little bit. And then if there actually does, you know, become some kind of lawsuit going on, some kind of legal battle going on, you know, what happens when all of a sudden she requests the communications between Turning Point and Blake in Discovery? He's already been served a letter where they're saying, what was it? One of those preservation letters where he can't delete anything. What if you get one of those letters and like you read it and then you go, oh shoot, and you just delete everything. And you go, oh man, you know what? I was having a deleting frenzy. And then I opened it up and I was like, oh, I can't delete nothing. Oh, I didn't realize. Man, if y'all just sent it just a little earlier. Oh man, I could have helped y'all. I really could have. But it's all gone. Damn. You're just twisting your iPhone, just breaking it in half. Oh man, I didn't want that to happen. Shoot. I threw it down a sewer. Yeah, every once in a while, I throw my phone down a sewer after I stomp on it and break it into a few pieces. Oh, shoot. It's all gone. Ah, man. I wiped my computer. Oh, man. I didn't realize. What happens if you do that? You're just like, I don't know. I didn't get your letter. When did you send a letter? I don't know. Anyway, always be true. What Blake did to Matt yesterday felt like Andrew sending Gary the fake alibi for Erica. He should have used his own platform to drop his receipts. Yeah, I would say that's always the move. I think because you never know. Barron didn't say, Candace, you got to check out these Google search trends. Barron didn't say that. He wasn't like, you got to check this out, Candace. Someone please get this to Candace. He didn't do that. He had like 4 live streams when he did. I think he had 4, maybe 5 live streams when he started. And he was like, Google search trends. Let's get into this. And everybody was like, this is crazy. Like you could always say, well, no one's going to notice if I put it out, but it's like people will notice and they'll start spreading it around. And the next thing you know, you are the Baron. You are the Baron Coleman. Right? Watching Coach, watching Candace, watching Baron, high IQ outfit. Inception. It's an Inception outfit. The Tank, Kevin King. George was the inspiration for Peaky Blinders. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Coach. I'm a real girl with real girl pronouns. And here's a not pro tip. I bypassed the battery issue, although altogether, and disconnected the smoke alarm detectors in my house. What? Hey, Carrie Quinn? No, don't do that. You're right. This is not a pro tip. This is not a pro tip. Don't do that. Just get batteries. Can someone send her some batteries in the chat, guys? This is crazy. You can't do that. Lisa got here late watching, but on Blake. Don't know if it's been mentioned, but I'm pretty sure he was the guy that also videoed her secretly and then posted it. He recorded her, and yes, it was through video, but he didn't actually like video Candace like in person, but it was just recorded. Yes, it was mentioned 100%. And I don't know about doing that. And here's the thing also. Why are you doing that? That's weird, right? There's a lot of AI. You could use otter.ai. There's a lot of different like meeting recording things that you can use that'll just put it all into text and record the audio. Why would you do that? Why would you film her and then put it out like that? So that means he recorded her months ago and then he held on to it for months and then he released it. He only released it when he felt she wasn't putting out his content, his theory fast enough. It's weird. I'm sure Candace has noticed this as well. Honeydew, George is obviously James Bond at this point. This bloke plays no games. Dun 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 dun. Shaken, not stirred. Just standing on the hood of some guy's car, stomping in his windshield. Laura is a 4-letter word. Even his dog is bored of Jeremy's life. Yeah, the dog is just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I used to be owned by a cowboy. I used to be owned by a real cowboy, a real Tennessee cowboy. Now I'm here on this couch, uncomfortable. The Salem, shook ones in a British accent is crazy. I got you stuck on the realness. I know you've heard of us. The Queenbridge murderers. Rock you in your brain. Have your nose bone. Stab your brain through your nose bone. You all alone in these streets, cousin. You minor, we major. You all up in the game, but don't deserve to be a player. I can see it inside your face. You were in the wrong place. Things like this will get your whole body laced up with bullet holes and such. Say the wrong words to mans and you will get touched. You can put your whole army against my team and I guarantee you, we will be the last ones breathing. You know? Jeremy and Ben are long on mouth and short on ears. That's such like a mom thing to say, you know? Like my mom always says, you're long on mouth and short on ears, you know? That's horrormom.com. Do you think the military guy messaged Candace? The military guy messaged Candace is just Gary. She covers up the name. Oh, do you think it's someone else? Oh, I don't know. In that text message, I have no idea who that is. First time I was listening to it because I wasn't watching, I thought it was Blake. And then I started realizing, I'm like, oh, this is not Blake. This is someone else. Like this is something else completely going on. I had no idea. So let's jump over here. But it could be Gary. Could be Gary. It wasn't Valhalla because Valhalla said that he did not reach out to her that way. The only way he reached out was through people. He was like, you know, you should know about this guy. That's where he was at. He was saying you should know about this guy. See, I think they get put together, and obviously I'm gonna shoot Valhalla some bail because I like him as a creator. I think he's a great creator. But it seems as though Valhalla wanted her to know about Mitch because Valhalla covers guys who are special forces, guys who have served, who have really bad backgrounds. He covers that a lot. And then Gary was the one saying that you were going to get sued. The reason that I think this is because Gary actually did an interview with Brian. So Gary actually had a connection to Brian, whereas Valhalla didn't actually have this connection to Brian. But I think because they were doing it at the same time, and Gary was actually saying, because he kept on saying it via Mitch, he kept telling everybody that him and Nate were actually great friends. Him and Valhalla were great friends. Because the reason I think it's kind of a backstabby thing is because months later, they're both on Balix Tones' show, and then Gary just goes off on Nate after the show. He acts all cordial, and then he's like, this guy doesn't know anything. He's not a sniper. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that. So they clearly were never really friends. I don't know, man. Wrong person to get caught up with, Gary, for sure. Seb, what is this? Oh, Kabapple Jack. As a black man, how you know when the smoke detector is dead? How do you know? Because you can't hear the beep. Because you can't hear. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Because you can't hear the beep. So how would you know? You know? You gotta actually light a fire. You gotta light a fire and just be under your smoke alarm. I think this one's not working. This one's not working. I don't hear any beeps, but I think this one's not working. Oh man. Anyway, let's keep going here. Star Studio, they get paid to lie, deflect, redirect, and obfuscate. Yeah. Danny, Michelle, nothing, just a period. Can we get the George is the real gangsta merch? That's what Candace needs to do. Candace needs to be selling that mugshot. That mugshot needs to be sold with like something good on the bottom of it. That's what they need to do. I can't do that with George. I could write. Funny enough, that's funny. I could do that. But I think Candace might be the better person. Jama. My favorite thing Coach says is, what are we talking about here? I laugh every time. He's one step away from saying, what the F? Coach is the best. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you actually read that perfectly. That is my version of what the F. That is my version of it. That is what I'm thinking in my head when I say that. Every single time. You hit the nail on the head there. Does anyone think Bednarz? Is that no, it's whatever, Blake. Looks like Ham from Sandlot? Who's Sandlot? That is all. Oh, P.S. You're such an excellent speaker, and I am rooting for you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Fine, I'll say it. Jeremy just looks like a freak. Jeremy, interestingly, he actually looks like a combination of people. You know, like I was kidding when I said the whole Temu thing, right? But he kind of does. He has this thing where you see. He has this thing where he looks like Tyler Fisher. If you know who Tyler Fisher is, he's a comedian. He's been on Joe Rogan quite a bit. You know, he used to be on Gutfeld, right? So he kind of looks like Tyler Fisher a little bit, right? You could see it. Let me switch over here. So he kind of looks like Tyler Fisher a little bit, you know? Like if I told you those guys were related, you know, would you argue with me? Would you be like, there's no way these guys are related? You'd be like, these guys kind of look similar, you know? So he kind of looks like that guy, right? But then he also kind of looks like, at times, he kind of looks like, you know, the reason I made the joke about the Temu Jordan Peterson, because he kind of has that like little bit of look to him. But then also, if you know the comedian Chris D'Elia, he kind of looks like Chris D'Elia too. It's really odd. He looks like three different people just mixed into one mess. You know, friend of the show, by the way. Anyway, I don't know if he looks like a freak. Yeah, he doesn't look like a freak. He looks like, you know, he looks like a red guy, you know. But it's very odd. Then somebody says looks like Culkin. Yeah, it's a interesting look to him, you know. He was supposed to go down as one of the great CEOs because of what he was doing, because of the company he was working with. He was supposed to go down as like, oh, this guy's an incredible CEO. They just focus too much on movies and stuff. What they were supposed to do is you find the next Candace Owens, you find the next Charlie Kirk. You just keep finding the next of what everybody loves in the conservative movement, and you just have that. And you just have a whole roster of them all making shows. That's what should have happened. And then they generate money on YouTube, and then it becomes where talent wants to go. They don't make YouTube channels themselves. They hook up with you guys. You have the name and you have the machine already. They bring their talent, and you guys just make a relationship, and you keep doing that. You just keep doing it. That's what they should have done. No movies, no shows. I don't even care if their movies did good. None of that. You just focus on that one thing until you have $1 billion. That's what they should have done. That's my opinion. Hey, Coach, love the show. Just wanted to point out that Candace just released Battle Bun merch. Hope she cuts you into the profits. She does not have to cut me into the profits at all. At all. I'm just happy to see it become a thing. It's amazing. Definitely doesn't have to send me anything. I really hope George sees your bit. Hilarious. The Michael doing laundry line sent me. Yeah, what else does Michael Knowles do? What else does he do? He has to be doing laundry. He's just doing people's laundry, smoking a cigar in a suit, you know? I hope George sees it too. I hope if he sees it, he likes it, you know? Yeah. It's out of respect. Tuning in late. I'm not black like that. It made me spit out my coffee. First super chat. Love your work, Coach. Thank you so much, Aggie. Appreciate you. Let's keep going. Oh, Bull Butter, Salem Media / Witches of Salem. Coincidence? Nope. There you go. Solid. I never thought of that. The Salem witch trials. Interesting. Will Thacker, George riding down the street, listening to Money Don't Fold. It jiggle. My money don't wiggle. What is it? My money don't fold. It jiggle jiggles. That song. I don't know how that song goes, but I love it. That's a good tune. Star Studio, they hide, delete, erase a history of atrocity. Yes, 100%. Always very concise with what you have to say, Star Studio. Always. You always get the point across, for the most part. In my mom era, Coach, you should look at new movie Mercy with Chris Pratt. I genuinely think this movie is one of those movies to condition us for the future. Mercy. Oh, is that where? Yeah, I think I know what movie you're talking about, where he has to like figure something out. He has to like prove that he's not guilty of something. I know exactly. It's almost like a Minority Report type of feel, that movie. Yeah. Data centers land cross ref with Chinese farmland and Gates Bezos lands. I got so hoodwinked. Oh yeah. That makes sense too. Yeah, China was buying up farmland too. But they were buying up farmland next to military installations. Oh, maybe they were doing, I don't know, man. Too many hoodwinks for one day. Always be true. Calling the second coming of Jesus as being through AI should be ground for divorce between you and Joe Rogan. Divorce? Who's the bottom? Who's the top? I want to be top. Am I top? Oh, he's already behind me. Ah, dang it. All right, you got me. Keep the kids and ask for child support. Yeah, spousal support. Spousal support for Joe Rogan. I need $2 million a month. I'm used to a certain lifestyle. Thank you. Anyway, Star Studio, study, review, and avoid logical fallacies. Thank you very much. And we will. Blake has done great work. Candace Owens was mad at him because he was asking good questions, her questions about her work. I think you just mean asking good questions about her work. I don't listen. If he's asking good questions, it's like, just make your videos about it. See, here's the thing. And it's funny. We were just talking about Joe Rogan. I've had beefs with Joe Rogan. I've felt like, oh man, this thing he said about AI and how it's inevitable and we should embrace it and we're all going to merge with machines. I don't like when he says that. But I don't say, well, you gotta explain this. Hey, Joe, you have to explain this. I just made videos about it. Like, that's all you have to do. It's really weird, the connection he feels like he had, like almost the authority he feels like he has towards her. It's very odd. Very, very odd. It's like a lot, I'm sure most creators experience this. There's a lot of fans who will be like, why don't you talk about this? And it's like, because I don't want to talk about that. Like, I want to do Officer Tatum impressions. Like, that's your thing is going to cut into my Officer Tatum impressions. I don't want that. I want to just do the stuff I want to do. So it's like, he can ask questions. That's not why she's mad at all. Because how do you even know she saw the questions? This is another thing. It's like, how do you know that she saw those questions and went, oh, these questions are pissing me off? It's a thing you're making up in your mind. It's really weird the way people do this. Like, it's odd. Like, she probably hasn't seen the questions. She talked to him a bunch of times, right? And he wanted her to go a certain way. And they were even like almost like collabing as she was like, hey, you should look into this. And hey, there's Brian Harpole thing. It's like they were communicating. But then for some reason, he went off the deep end. He was like, you should be talking about the things. Like, for the longest time, you'd always see him post like, she still hasn't posted my video. She still hasn't posted the video I gave her. And all of us would always say, well, then you post the video. You post it. It's very, very odd. Very odd. And it's not like he doesn't have his own following. He has a bigger following. Well, he did. I don't know if he deactivated the account. He had a bigger following on X than I did. He almost has 100,000 people watching him on X. It's like, you have a platform. You're good. He had a YouTube channel too. I think he nuked it. But like, you don't get to have, it's the weirdest thing that people think they just have this thing where they're like, I asked Candace a question and she should answer immediately. It's like, she doesn't have to answer. She doesn't have to answer your questions at all. You should be putting out things that counter whatever she's putting out there. If you feel like that's what's necessary, you should be countering it yourself. If you don't believe in something she says, you should make a video and a thumbnail and a title and say, this is why she's wrong about XYZ. And there will be an audience of people who will say, oh, good work. Good work. You pointed out some great things. But it's not up to her to be like, okay, I have to address person 649 ABC 964 69 420. It's like, come on. Mark Book gifted 1 membership. Thank you very much. Jeez, what is this? Leela 111. My God. Thank you. Thank you. Unless these are pesos or something. Thank you so much. You didn't say anything. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. Friend of the show. Most definitely. Lexi Warner. I imagine George Farmer, like Peaky Blinders, was thinking of making an animation of it. Do it. Do it. There you go. Why wouldn't you? Ted Turner was extremely large landowner. R.I.P. Yeah, I heard he passed away recently at 87 years old. That's crazy. The man who brought us Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. You know, you can't do everything right in life, but you know, he did a massive success, built quite the beast that CNN is today. Quite the beast. R.I.P. to him. Zack Attack Maniac. Candace showed the Battle Bun mugs at the end of the show. Oh, did she? Sick. I'd get one of those. I'd get a Battle Bun shirt. Again, hey, friend of the show. What is, how do I even say this? Lee? This is Yee. So it's Lee 111. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Libby K. Longtime listener, first time super chat. I usually save your videos to watch later after I catch up on Candace, but you make me laugh. I would love to see you do more content on the occult in UAP. Well, it's coming now that they talked about all this stuff. We have to get into it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. George Farmer, world's most polite gangster. Read my buy me a coffee comments. I will 100%. I will. Oh, you had like more of the right, huh? You wanted some more characters, huh? Okay, all right, I hear you. Let's just get through these. We only have a few more here, and then we'll go over the coffees. Tuned in late. First thing I hear is you in a British accent with no context. Stab your brain through your nose bone. Stab your brain with your nose bone. You're alone in these streets, cousin. Had to super just for the laugh. We'll rewatch later. Thank you so much, Christine. Appreciate you. Christine Pretty Man. Wow. What a pretty name. Let's keep going here. Got a few more of these. Your George and Tatum impression are hilarious. I had to rewind and watch it back to laugh for a second time. You are a mess. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you very, very much. Or is it Danny? Danny Michelle or Dana Michelle? I think it's Danny. Danny Michelle. Thank you very much. When are we getting a I want to be the top coach shirt? I want to be the top? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I'm making that shirt. I can make one just for you. But then I'll stand beside you and I'll wear it. Okay? Because I can't find Fleet's songs. He was going to be my president. I listen to it every day. Not all of her music is on YouTube Music. Is her content anywhere else? I'm having withdrawals. Love you, coach. I don't know. That's why at the beginning of the show, I was like, Spotify, everything. But I think it is there. I feel like she said, I feel like Lance said that he and her had a record label and that they put everything out. And they're like together on it. So I feel like it should be there, because if you have a record label, I would think you're putting everything on Spotify. But I don't know how the song pay structure works. I only know about podcasts. But yeah, I don't know where else to find it. I would say check Spotify. That would be it. Yeah, that'd be it. I would say check those places. He was going to be my president. It's a great song too. Great song. I often think about the husband song. Not to be morbid. I wonder if they looked at that song and they like pushed for that to be the thing that got rid of the channel. Because that song, I remember hearing that song and watching the video and be like, I don't think I can play this because they're weird about like frontal. And I was like, I don't think I can play this song because like she's twerking and stuff. They got Erica twerking and doing all sorts of things. And I'm like, I don't know if I can actually, I don't know if I can show this video. But yeah, you gotta look for it. Should stay updated. If you don't have who's this? Jamie C. If you don't have X, you have to get on X. Get on X because any move that she's going to make, she's probably gonna announce it there. She doesn't have to answer questions to Blake, but would call him out personally on her show by millions. Make it make sense. You get to do what you want on your show. I don't do it, but I could pull my pants off right now. I could take my hat off and swing it. I could just go to the comments and only answer comments for the next 30 minutes. I could do whatever I want on my show. That's how that works. She's allowed to call him out personally, but doesn't have to answer questions. Yeah, that's how it works. It's exactly how it works. Like I didn't have to click that. I could read this beforehand and then go, nah, I don't want to engage in this. I could easily do that. That's exactly how it works. So yeah, make it make sense. Like that's how it makes sense. You don't have to answer any questions you don't want to answer at all. You know, just watch the Lionel podcast. Total fire, fun and dynamic. Kudos, coach. Oh, that was all Lionel. Lionel just, I mean, he took that show by the horns. I was just along for the ride. It was crazy. It was he was the way he would break things down. That was nuts. I would love to do that every week. I love older people with different experiences, eclectic experiences, because they're so wise. You know, for you to live like I said when I first talked to him, it's like he had lived like 4 different lives. Like we didn't even get into the attorney life. Like what happened first? Were you a comedian first? Did you stop doing? Were you a lawyer and a comedian at the same time? And then you were broadcasting? Were you doing all 3 together? Like it was mind-boggling, the whole thing. I was like, I have so many questions. I should ask him. Oh man, it's probably too short notice. I want to get somebody on for Friday. I have Sabby on Monday. I got maybe next Monday. I wanted to get Baron on Friday, but it's too short notice now. I was too caught up in just my head. But yeah, Lionel is, I can't wait to be the one that gets to like hone in and ask the questions to Lionel. I can't wait. I have so many. And just like that, Blake's back on X. There you go. It's weird. It's weird the way it works. Very weird. I don't know what's going on there. Couldn't explain it to you if I had to. So, and it's not the first time he's done it. He gets rid of his ex and then he comes back. He gets rid of his ex. At one point, he said his family was upset about it, so he started a different channel, a different page. And then he kept the bigger page, and then he got rid of the small page. And I don't know. No idea. No idea what's going on there. What's this? Yeah. And now he's back on X. Yeah, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's see. What? Following 0, 2 followers? That's crazy. He had 69,000 followers. What? That's crazy. That makes me think someone did it to him. What? That's not normal. He had 69 or 67,000 followers on X. Now he has 2. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. It's actually, yeah, okay. So there's actually a lot more. Okay. This is weird. Very weird. I don't know what to make of it. Couldn't tell you. I'm sure the saga is far from over. I'm sure he and Candace will have more of a back and forth. Maybe he'll even be on Candace's show. I don't know. She didn't invite him, but I mean, maybe she will. Maybe she will invite him. I don't know. I feel like this is a different page because he had me blocked for the longest time after we had our back and forth. Oh, and there's another one. So he has 3? There's 3 accounts. Okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to figure that out. Just found 2 more accounts. What's going on? Oh man. Hope he figures it out. Because I mean, people have said that he has great stuff. You know, it's not like he's just like pushing fluff. People say he has great video. I know one of the videos I shared it months ago. It was a 30-minute video of the entire thing. I'm pretty sure it was from his page because he had this great video that was of everything. It was like 20 minutes before what happened to Charlie and like 10 or 15 minutes after what happened to Charlie. And it was from this view where you could see everything. You could see George Zinn, you could see Skylar, you could see the other guys, you could see Harpole, you could see Blake and Mikey, you could see everything. You couldn't see inside the tunnel, but you could see everything from this view. It was a very, very good view. So anyway, let's get into it. Philip, you said your name was. I can call you Philip because I can pronounce that. In my opinion, Boring looks like a guy that master German deer calling. If you know, you know. I don't think I can show the German deer calling video. I posted it on X. I said, what is this? What is the name of this sport that Lindsey Graham would obviously be a world champion of? You can look it up, but I don't think I can show that. I don't think I should. I think it's a little too risque. I think it's a little too risque. We'll see. We'll see. Look, yeah, everybody's commenting on it. It's a wild picture. It's a video. You should check it out if you want to see it. I am glad you got much needed family time, and not saying this to guilt, but my day yesterday at work was not the same at all without you. Live in my ear. I'm very sorry about that, Big Goy Ploy. I did send you the IG you asked with some merch ideas, merch expansion, fonts, etc. Since different regions have different ideas of street vibe. That's interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. Do you feel Project Bluebeam is underway? I want it to be interplanetary aliens, not stupid interdimensional. I like how you have a wish list of how this should be. Although, if that's the case, the old stories of the Fae would indicate they are interdimensional, and those stories are not friendly. Yeah, that's because the ones that are interdimensional, those are demons. That you're dealing with the demonic at that point. You're not dealing with look, yeah, see, like, who's this person rating all this stuff? Anyway, see, and again, I have the option. I could have clicked on this super chat to see what it said. I'm not going to. I'm going to engage with Big Goy Paloy here, because the ones that are interdimensional are demons. That's why they're not friendly stories. Tim Burchett on Joe Rogan's podcast, that is going to be more about UFOs. See, they are planning something from all angles. So now Tim Burchett is on Joe Rogan's show. They're definitely going to talk about UFOs. He's going to talk about the stuff he can talk about but can't talk about because of the skiffs and whatnot. Oh, Benny Johnson getting his whole UFO breakdown from every single person. Oh man, yeah, it's really coming. Since you are clearly Irish with your first and last name, generously shared today, you should know all about it. If not, it is worth looking into, as they will sound similar to demons. Yes, exactly. And the stories of their entrance through the Underhill and being stuck there sounds familiar to hell or purgatory. That is interesting, what you're saying. The stories of the Fae. I don't know what that is. The Fae? I've never heard of that before. The stories of the Fae. What is the stories of the Fae? What is that? Ancient Celtic folklore depicting them as small, whimsical creatures, but powerful, tall. Okay. All right, I'm gonna look into that a little bit. I've never heard of that. Also, only a few days until the government lies to us again about Mortal Kombat Matcha. I wonder if they are shredding old files again or just destroying hard drives. Last time it was 10,000 files. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're asking me what I think, it's probably a combination of both, right? Probably doing both at the same time. What is this? What is this name? Is this Tehran? Like Tehran? Like Tehran, Tehran, Iran, Tehran? Is that how you say that? Or am I saying, or is it Terra? It's probably just Terra, right? I overshot there with the pronunciation. I keep hoping Gary would come up so you can do the Descendant of Kanahara Giants bit. It's not a bit. I mean, it's just a thing that everybody's been hearing. Everybody's been hearing about it. I don't know what it is. You know, apparently he's a giant. That's why his head's so long. Bit easy. Well, at least we know why you're not getting the $7,000. I guess in order to get that bread, you got to sign up for Salem. Philadelphia is ridiculous. I don't know. You know, it seems that way. It's very interesting. It is the $7,000 machine, I guess. Coach, yesterday I dozed off during the live, not because of you. Oh, this must be from another day. I've been super sick. Please don't be mad. While I was sleeping, you were giving an inspirational speech about following what's meant for you. Yes, that is from the other day. So naturally, I had a dream that we were talking on the phone and you were saying all that. I felt like a huge weirdo, so I had to share it. I'm a boring normie, I swear. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Weird dreams like that, you know, or maybe it wasn't a dream. Maybe you are supposed to just follow what is meant for you. You know, I always say anybody, when it comes to like following like what you're meant to do, everybody knows what it is. You know, you ask anybody, like the thing that what is the thing that you'd want to do more than anything? Everybody knows. Nobody's like, everybody knows. If money were no object, like Alan Watts says, if money were no object, what would you do? Everybody knows. Oceans of Notions. Hi, Coach and Mrs. Coach. Congrats on the new baby. Non-related to today's show, but curious why the decision to move to Texas. I was looking into moving to North Houston area from hell itself. Oh, Bay Area, California. Oh, man, I'd love to live in California. If it was different, I would love to live in California. Even with all the Hollywood weirdos. Anything I should know. Love the show more than Officer Tatum loves Mountain of Evidence. God bless. Texas is great. The South is great. I love the South. I love the weather. I love being unbelievably hot. I think it's the best thing for your body. I think the sun is magnificent. You're basically living in a built-up desert. It's basically white Mexico. It's a great place. The people are great, but you don't have to. I always tell people, you live in California right now, right? So no place you go to is going to be better weather-wise. You live in the best place weather-wise, almost in the world. Like it's very close. It's one of the best places, but you got to think of the people. What kind of people do you want to be around? And you don't have to think about just going to Texas. You go anywhere. You live in California. You could go to BC in Canada. You could go, and you can only stay for like 6 months or something like that. But you could go to Kentucky. You might love Kentucky. I always tell people, man, go check it out. You might love it. Go check it. You might love Louisiana. You might love Arkansas. Yeah, I know people have their preconceived notions about Arkansas, but it's a great place. Yeah, you should check out all the places. Especially if you're from California. I mean, the tax that you're paying is just ridiculous. I mean, it's just American Canada in California. So it's just ridiculous. So, check it out. It's hard because, I say this, but you have to find a job wherever you go. But you should be checking places out. Don't worry about just Texas. Texas is a huge place. It's a huge, huge place. North Houston, I don't know. I would say Dallas. The wife and I have been thinking about Dallas quite a bit. Like Austin's great. Being outside of Austin's great, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about Dallas. I have a friend who's really into real estate. He built himself up a pretty huge real estate company from Florida. Now he's spanning into Texas, and he says like Dallas is like the place to be. That's just what he says. So, check it out. But I love the South. I love it. Paula Branson, you don't know how much I appreciate your humor. You had me rolling with the George Farmer gangster bit. I hope Fleet does a video on that. And the Timu Jordan Peterson comment, hysterical. What is this? Why am I upside down? Who is this? Thank you so much, Paula. I appreciate that. What is this? Why am I upside down? Dark Star? Is this Jamie? Who is this?
Plain old dirt, pedal to the metal, always did what I was told. Till I found out that my brand new game, secondhand from the rich kids next. So I grew up fast. There's 1,000 things inside my head I was chains. Now I just stumble through a real bed. Seems like I'm coming up part of this. Well, thank you, Jack Ailes. Hole number 7. 17 he's got drinking in heaven, and it starts to look good to me. They're gonna have to deport the fiery. Said, thank you, Jack Daniels. Hole number 7. 17 he's got drinking in heaven, and angels start to look good. They're gonna have to deport to the fiery. I said,
There we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anytime I see one of these videos, I think someone's just going to start yelling the N-word. So it's always nice when it's not that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Dark Star. Are you Jamie Dark Star? I think you're Jamie. Mike in Irvine, George Farmer doing Snoop Dogg made me lose it. Good on you, coach. That's what you bring to the table. Hilarious. George saw that. That'd be funny if he actually saw that. Mike Riley, what's going on? Papa, you got a baby now. Got a little baby. How many days old is your baby? I think like what, maybe. Oh, still in the NICU. Okay. Blake B reminds me so much of my former best friend that set me up and got me kidnapped. Whoa. He's a slimeball con artist that befriends the suckers and just always know more than you, about everything. I know that type. You got kidnapped. That's crazy. I could tell. I don't know why. I could tell you were someone who could be in a situation of getting kidnapped and survived. I don't know. You seem, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's your name. Maybe it's just from the profile picture. I could always tell. I'm like, this guy has like a rough edge to him. I could tell because I grew up around a lot of people like that. Very interesting. Little update. Baby boy still in the NICU and getting better every day. Really, really hoping we can bring him home tomorrow. Prayers are appreciated. Love you all. Thanks. That's amazing, man. Getting better and better. In Jesus' name, we pray that baby is just getting stronger every single day, developing more and more every single day, and just we'll be home with you and your wife soon. Yeah, in Jesus' name, amen. I mean, that's because you did say it was an emergency. I said I had the same thing with my first emergency C-section. So, it's all right. It's hard. It's hard. My father-in-law had to deal with that for one of his kids. I think it was like for like a week or something like that. I couldn't imagine. I'd just be like, oh, I guess I have to camp out in the hospital. I can't leave. Like, I'm not leaving. There's no chance. No chance I'm leaving. Man, I hope everything's good. Hope you're maintaining mentally as well. Check out Mormon connection to it all. Largest landowner next to the federal government. What? Really? Check out the LDS. I think that's what we're supposed to call them. A connection to it all. Largest landowners next to the federal government? Really? That's crazy. I've never heard that before. Interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, you're the best. Thank you so much. Very generous. Thank you. Appreciate you. Definitely gonna look into that connection. Baby bro 77, thank you for making me laugh every day in this upside down land we are living in. Doing the gangster George had me roaring. Candace and George are good people. Tatum bits are great and deserved. Friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. God bless you and your growing family. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Jade, coach, your gangster George is my new favorite. Being a northerner from England, I can confirm southerners sound exactly like that. That's amazing. Thank you for all you do, all that you do. I look forward to your show every day. I look after yourself, sending love to you and your family. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got a lot of family, and I got like 20 cousins, 2 uncles, 20 cousins, all, and I think my grandfather was there too for a little bit. I'm not sure where he passed away. I think he passed away in the UK. Yeah, definitely interesting place. Yeah, I got a lot of family out there. M Blaze plus my mom loves British people. She loves people from the UK. She loves it. M Blaze, you should be buying me one because you made me spit out my own at the George skit repeatedly. Thanks for the laughs. Candace Owens is going to love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Third Eye Prophet, FF Wood. Who's FF? How come I don't know that? Come on. Why can't I think of it? FF would actually play that sound. Oh, Fresh and Fit. Every time they were talking about them boys, Philadelphia. It was a funny joke. YouTube wouldn't let me send that so freak them. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that. But I've also heard that sound other places when they're not talking about anything like that. I don't know. Yeah, but I assume you're right if you watch the show. I never really watched the Fresh and Fit that much. Victoria, coach, absolutely adore you. Your Officer Tatum impression and George Farmer impression are my absolute favorites. Was so lost without you yesterday. Have to have my fill of laughs with Coach daily. Thank you for helping me get through my workday. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Victoria, thank you very much, Victoria. Miss B bought me a coffee. By order of the Peaky Blinders, you've nailed it. LOL. Season 6 in real time. We've got George as handsome Peaky Blinder and Erica out here dressing like a fascist. All we need is Candace walking away from an exploding building with a set fire. With Set Fire by Adele playing in the background. That's amazing. That's hilarious. You got good imagery in your head. You got a good imagination. Bear Baitum, Miss Bear Baitum. Thank you so much. Says nothing. Thank you very much. Say something next time. Lily Rab Connection. Your Officer Tatum impression has officially moved to second best. George Farmer is a gangster singing 50 Cent. Cannot beat. I am over here literally laughing out loud like a crazy person. AD Fleet needs to make this her comeback video on Spotify. Or is this why she married a black? Is this why he married a black chick? Yes, baby mother. Baby mama. I'm just no. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. No. Oh, that is a funny thing. Miss Chris Viz, hi coach. I'm so glad you took a day to realign. Always listen to your body. I'm not going to say I wasn't concerned though. I guess so much so that you were in my dream last night. We were in Mexico and you were doing a live show when some gunshots were heard. We thought it was the cartel. Oh no, was it? But it turned out to be the freaking agency. Whoa. I kept saying, thank God, Mrs. Coach, and the babies were back in the USA. We managed to get away with the help of a friend in I have in church ministry. So I guess that is what happens when you build an online community. People infiltrate the dreams. Anyway, glad to have you back. Peace and good health to you. And peace and good health to everyone. Hit the like, siempre, siempre. That is crazy. That is a crazy dream to have. That is a wild dream that you've had, Miss Chris Viz. And where's your channel? I thought you were making a channel. Where is the channel? We talked about it. You said you wanted to make a channel. Let us know where it is. I told you I'd promote the channel. Come on. You don't get this kind of offer all the time. Cardi B, hi, Colin. I love your show. Wanted to bring up something I don't think you fully touched on when you played the clip of Candace talking about being pressured and bullied by Gary and Valhalla. I used to watch Nate's channel, but I stopped when he started pressuring Candace, not only to take him on as her... Wait, what? Not only to take him on as her military consultant, but also to not platform Mitch Snow. Military consultant? I didn't know that. I never saw that. I wasn't watching stuff closely with Mitch Snow. I was like, who cares? I'm like, she's going to talk about it. It's going to, like, who cares? Like, what is this? This is such a weird thing. I kept telling everybody, I'm like, this is just a part of the investigation. Like, so what? So what? Like, you know, it's like the Egyptian plane. It's like anything. Like, you know, you let people find what they're going to find and not find what they're not going to find. But yeah, military consultant is interesting. But also to not have platform Mitch Snow, I understand people may say Nate got swept up in mob mentality or being egged on by Gary, but Nate is an adult. He made his own choices. Well, that's true. I do think there is a combination of getting swept up and then also having Gary, you know, because it's like you're trying to say something and people aren't hearing you, and then Gary comes up and he's like, hey, big guy, like, you know, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's Candace, she's terrible, you know, like, oh man, Mitch Snow, come on, man. You know, you have the wrong person around you. It was so silly. I remember talking to Jesse about it. I was like, who cares, man? Like, who cares? This guy's Mitch Snow. Who cares? You know? But that's me. I mean, I look at it all as just videos. You know, it's an investigation, but they're also just videos. And eventually there's going to be 100 more videos. So it's like, you can't get crazy hung up on any one aspect of a video, especially when it comes to investigation, because the thing you have to do is give people the grace to go, okay, I was wrong about that. Let's move on. You know? I don't know. The whole thing's weird. But yes, of course he made his own choices. He knows that. He's aware. He's aware. And now he's making his own choices to not, you know, push like that. You know, I do like the broadcaster he's becoming. I do enjoy his pre-recorded videos. I do enjoy them a lot. I just saw him do something live where I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. And he's talking about like the emotional, they were all talking about, he's playing clips of like the emotional damage that happens from going to war, going to battle. And I mess with that stuff. I like the stuff he does when it comes to trajectory and bullets and things like that. I find it very interesting. But yeah, you're 100% right. He made his own choice. I mean, what can you say? Just like Ian. Like Ian was trying to parlay the message, right? And then Ian was like, okay, I think I'm done here. And he just made a choice. He's like, I'm stepping back. He's like, I can make videos about anything. He goes, I go deeper than anyone, so I'm just gonna go deep right now. Bye-bye. Going max. You know, what I'm asking is simple. Please speak on it. You don't have to attack him, but holding a friend accountable. Nate was wrong to pressure. I already spoke about this. What are you talking about? This is months later. I already spoke about this whole thing. I think leveraging his connection to Ian in this situation was wrong. Kind of. I don't know if it was wrong, but you know, you try to talk to people through people if you can. Candace is someone you'd have to talk to people through, because, you know, she doesn't have time to waste on just talking to everybody. But I mean, you know, like Jesse connected me in Valhalla, right? I didn't have to say, hey, Jesse, send this to Valhalla. He's connected us. That was it. So, yeah, you could say it's wrong if you don't like it. If you don't care, then you're probably like, you you're probably indifferent about it, but I don't know. But yeah, I already addressed this months ago, like months and months and months ago, when the Mitch Snow stuff happened, because I was addressing this and everybody focuses on Valhalla, but nobody addresses. And I think I was me and Dee. I think me and Dee were the only ones who talked about George Webb being like, there's a tree and they're going to take you out of this building and they're going to put you up on this tree. And I was like, what is he saying? And he's like, Friday, your career will be over. You're going to be hanging on this tree. I was like, what? I was like, how is he saying this? And everybody's like, I kind of like George. I kind of like George. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, anyway, I digress. I did cover all this a while ago. To me, it came across this is still the same one. This is the benefit of these coffees, ladies and gentlemen. You get a dissertation that you get to put out here. Insecure controlling. I've seen that insecurity before on the show. Like when somebody in his chat said Baron Coleman was talking about him. Nate asked if Baron was talking smack until everyone reassured him. Yeah, that happened with me too. You know? Yeah, that happens. The Baron was talking about him, blah blah blah. Yeah, that happened to me as well. And people actually, it's weird because people in the chats will do odd things. People in his chat told him that I was talking smack about him. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I sent them the video I made. And he's like, that was actually really well balanced and fair. He's like, I guess you weren't talking smack about me. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, people are just saying things. Yeah. So I get that. That's actually a regular thing in creator land. Obviously you can be friends with whoever you want, but part of why people respect you is that you say what's true. Yeah, I did. I covered this a while ago. Yes, I covered this. I covered this like a long while ago. I said people shouldn't be activating. People shouldn't be pushing somebody on their investigation. Let whatever is true become true. Let whatever is false fall away, and just let Candace do her thing. And I still think the same thing. Like, let Candace tell us what's going on. You know, with this whole Blake thing, people are like, I don't think it's right for her to do this to Blake. Well, you don't know what's coming. So who knows what's coming next from her or from Blake? Rafi, I always appreciated that you always respect everyone. You call out people and you may mock them. Do I? When? Me? What? When? But you never are mean-spirited and still respectful. That's a gift, man. Stay true to you. We love and respect you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I guess I'm just making fun of stuff, you know? It's not like mocking in a bad way. I make fun of stuff. I don't know. Lacey, oh my freaking, you are freaking hilarious, coach. Stomach hurts from laughing. Big LOLs. I hope Candace features your impression of Gangster's George on the show tonight. I'm willing it to be. P.S. LOL. Timu Jordan Peterson. He really is. He's sitting there like Jordan Peterson. It's like with Jordan Peterson with nothing to say. And then I said to her, well, you're fired. Now, when we get into the context of what fired actually means, we have to really buckle down and say, you know, are you actually set ablaze? And the answer may be no, but in some terms, yes. It's basically what he's doing. He has nothing to say. What are you doing, man? It's crazy. You know? Some people shouldn't be working with Mr. Wachuka. You don't deserve to be working with Mr. Wachuka. I wish I could see George's face while watching you do the impression of him. You make my day. You're so amazing. Love starting the day with Coach. The day right with Coach. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. In the words of the late, great Charlie Murphy, George Farmer is mad N-wordish. He drives a Hellcat truck. Does he really? Come on, get out of here. A Hellcat truck? No, he doesn't. That's crazy if he does. That's crazy. That's so funny. It's so funny you brought up Charlie Murphy. I was just watching a video. Lionel tagged me in a video where Dave Chappelle's talking about Charlie Murphy. Just watch that. Longtime listener, first time caller, LOL. Look forward to you daily. Help me get through the day. Check out Blake B's YouTube. Blake B's YouTube. Oh, his YouTube at Texas is the best Texas. Okay. He has a video scheduled for 5. Bring your own receipts with Blake and Candace. Show and tell. Wow. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if they're both there. I doubt they'll both be there, but we'll see. Now, that would be cool though. If she showed up ready for the smoke, that'd be wild. But I think it's just going to be him. And he's just going to flip out on me and whoever else mentioned him. Thanks for bringing the comedy with the truth. Loved you on Lionel. He was raving about you last night on his show too. Oh, was he? Man, Lionel's the best. Lionel's the best. God bless you and the fam. Christ is king. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, Lionel's incredible, man. Lionel's so incredible. I mean, you guys have no idea. Just so good. Blake, what a lowlife. Not only did he try to get Candace to go after Harpole, he also videoed her without her knowledge and totally blew off Jesse on fire at the last minute, and went on for 3 hours with Zach Costello and a couple of other guys. I wonder where he actually got that video. Yeah, that was weird. I noticed that too, that he then did a live stream with some other people, and I was like, oh, that's so weird. Because I asked Jesse about it, because I didn't believe it. You know, in creator land, people just make things up. And I was like, what is this? I was like, did this really happen to you? And he's like, yeah. he's like, yeah, like just now. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Very interesting. But you know, Jesse's a good guy though. Jesse's not gonna be pissed about stuff like that. Jesse's making a video regardless. That's how Jesse works. Jesse, you listen, you can show up or not show up. Jesse's gonna make a video. You don't have to worry about Jesse. Jesse's got videos stacked. He knows exactly what to do. So as soon as somebody cancels, I'm sure he was just like, well, camera's already on. Probably just got right to it, honestly. Put out a video in like 40 minutes, I bet. Thoughts. You and Baron need to do a deep dive on the book, The Last President. Oh, wow. Was I talking about this? Maybe I was talking about this with my mom. Lockwood. What is this? Ingersoll? Lockwood. It depicts a man that describes the president to a T as the last president before wish hits the fan. Oh, that's a good way of saying it. Before the sugar honey iced tea hits the fan. Also, the book travels and adventures of little Baron. Yeah, I've seen this book too. It's from the 1800s, I'm pretty sure. And his wonderful dog, Bulger. Huh, really? Written by the same author, talking about time travel. Oh, is it written by the same author? I did not know that. I'm confusing the book The Last President with somebody. I forget what his name is. He's a guy who's predicted that the last president is coming. And this is years ago. And he was talking, he breaks down this whole thing about how there's going to be like one more president. And I think by 2032, it's just not going to be a thing anymore. I have to look into who it was. I can't remember the person's name who was making this prediction, but it's crazy that there's also a book called The Last President going through the same thing. Maybe that's where the guy got the whole premonition from. Thank you for covering X. I cannot understand X or how it works sometimes. Yeah, it is very confusing. If you don't know what's going on, it's very, very confusing. Yeah. It's just a bunch of us just hurling excrement everywhere. We're just throwing it at each other and stuff. It's terrible. Heather Collins, the Why So Sad video guy with Erica is a Cabot lookalike. Could he be the guy with her at Fort Huachuca? He looks like a personal bodyguard. That's interesting. He does have like a build, like a posture to him. Like he could be, some kind of, vet. And he might be. I don't actually know if Cabot is served at all. Could be. I saw a video from someone. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Danks or Lionel or someone was talking about Erica dating already. They were showing some kind of image and it's like potentially her being on a date with someone, which is really weird. If true. Missed you, bud. Lionel was awesome. Who knew he was so funny? Keep up the great work. Would love to see you with Sam Tripoli. Hopefully a makeup date is in the works, but of course, if you need a day, you need a day. Candace just dropped the Battle Bun mug. You should buy one. I should. I have my Papa Bear mug though, you know, straight from Target. I think that one's from Target. Man, you know when you scratch your ear and now like you've ripped it open? That's what I have going on now. I've ripped my ear. I've done something terrible. But yeah, Lionel's hilarious. I knew he was funny, and you can watch his videos. He's funny. You know, the whole vocab is funny, but I didn't realize he was like that. Wonderful show on Lionel, Coach. Thank you so much, Alpaca Renee. Harpole won't sue Blake. His pockets aren't deep. That it could be as simple as that. You know, Candace feels like it's a trap, that they're aligned in some way. It could be as simple as that. Like, you know, the lawyer who is, you know, Ben Shapiro's brother-in-law or works with him or something like that. They could just be like, Candace is the biggest fish. Go for that one. Like, don't worry about these other guys, you know? Like, go for that one. We can get it. Yeah, maybe we'll get $250,000 out of her or something like that. That could be it. Chantel, you're fast becoming my favorite. When all the hard information comes through, it gets a bit much. After too much paragraphs of info, I turn to your channel because it's lighter, man. Lighter, but still news. I don't think you know how important you are in the moment. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. She's like, I come to you for dumb stuff. I come to you because you're much slower than the rest of these creators. You're just, you know, it's just lighter. Lighter is the most polite way of calling someone dumb. That is the most polite way of saying it. And I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. It's just lighter, you know. All these other guys get bogged down with these big words, and I just come over to you for a lot of 4-letter words, and you know, it's a lot lighter. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And I'm kidding. Whoa, having Candace and Baron out Blake is bad. Just wait till Lionel joins in on the train. Blake will definitely be derailed off the cliff. I wonder if Lionel's going to do that. You know, I don't think so, though. I mean, maybe he'll talk about the whole ordeal, but who knows? And, you know, maybe he will, from a legal perspective, talk about this whole thing. Harmon Guzman, it warmed my heart when Candace completely writes off Valhalla. I figured she wasn't a fan when a couple of episodes ago she referred to him as that Valhalla guy. Dude got some zesty hand mannerisms. The way people look into people is so funny. You know, you see the hands. Like I did that with Blake. I did that with Blake Neff. You know, when I saw Blake Neff do, when I saw him go period, I was like, oh, look at you, period. Like, okay. And I had the most assumptions as soon as I saw that. I was like, okay, period. Krista. Yeah, and I don't know if she's a fan of Valhalla. I don't think she knew Valhalla beforehand. I don't think she actually knew him. I think that was Ian's connection, and then that whole thing happened. It sucks to get mentioned again, that's for sure. You know, Candace keeps bringing it up. You know, because so many people are going to be in his chat, and they're going to be like, Candace talked about you. Candace talked about you. Candace talked about you. He's going to be like, I know she did. I know she did. Okay, all right. He for sure got 500 messages about it, for sure. Christia, or is it Krista, or is it Christa from the 90s, from the 1900s? Okay. Did Blake B remove his X account? Yes, and now it's back. Is he not included in the preservation? Oh, interesting. Yeah, they'd probably be like, you can't do that. You can't deactivate your account. Oh, maybe that's why he brought it back. He realized, oh, I can't do that right now. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know. I didn't think of that, though. Christy, what happened to Fleet's channel? It says it was terminated. Yeah, I saw that too. You'll see that anytime you click on one of the videos that was terminated. I don't know. I do not know. And there's been no updates from her herself to say like, hey, this is what happened. This is what it said. You know, the most, I don't know, we'll say deserving of people getting deleted, the most deserving of people who get deleted, usually get a reason, right? They do something crazy. They know they're saying crazy things. They know that they're, saying hateful things, and they get deleted, and they get told why. They say, hey, this is the reason. If she didn't get a reason, that doesn't make any sense. That's just weird. Casualty of media, Google, Operation Flickr. I know you won't click links. People need a reminder of why it seems nothing will come of Jeff. FOIA is incomplete. Cancer is so pervasive. They had to bury the investigation. Notice the charities that claim to help. Okay. You got Haiti. You got Romania. Operation Iron Pursuit just concluded. Operation We Will Find Out too. Youngest. Okay. All right. I definitely can't read stuff like that. Like I see what you're putting out there. It's like you just said something about 5 months. Like I can't. Like no. Hey coach, really appreciate your work that you are doing. I found your show as I was following Charlie Kirk's story. I have zero social media, so I appreciate you keeping us in the loop. I listen on Apple Podcasts. Also, please try to convince Baron to put his show on his content on Apple as well, so I can listen to it at work while I'm driving. Also, your impersonations have made their way into my daily vocabulary. I find myself regularly saying, "Get back to work, Matt Walsh." Cheers, coach. Crisis King. Crisis King, indeed. I didn't know I was on Apple. I gotta be honest with you, Paul. I gotta be real honest with you here, Paul. I didn't realize I was on Apple. Okay? And I might have to change that. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Apple doesn't pay. I didn't even know I was there. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what to tell you here. Very weird. This is awkward, Sorry. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna take it down from Apple. I think I'm gonna do that. And it's because he told me. I'm so sorry. They don't pay anything, man. They refuse. At least Spotify was like, okay, well, we can monetize people. Apple's just like, screw you. It's weird. Misty Cook, but yet they'll pay like Jon Stewart or like Ben Stiller to do some stuff, lifelong supporter. I love the show. Misty Cook, thank you. Lifelong. How long? How long you been watching the show for? How many when you subscribed? How many subscribers did I have? I'd love to know that. I wonder if there was more than one option after CK stated he was leaving the cause in the group chat. Maybe AK assumed CO would be offed as a warning to CK first, option 1, but found out last minute that the plan was changed and he was outvoted. And the second option was selected. AK was angry at CO for remaining alive and told her it was supposed to be you. Just a thought. That's possible. That is definitely possible. I have done something terrible to my ear. It's for sure bleeding, and I can't stop scratching it. I can't stop. That is possible. That's definitely a possibility for sure. I don't know, though. Oh, you can't even see it. Ah, man, I was doing the Baron thing. Shoot. Whatever. What can I do? What can I do? It happens. Sarah, the evil people who got you demonetized, underestimated how much your audience loves you. The truth will always prevail. No. There was nothing like that happened. It was literally like a business thing that I just did because I had to do it for tax purposes. I changed from a business to an individual. That's why the demonetization was there. It had nothing to do with what I said or anything. It had nothing to do with that at all. I know it seemed like that, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Trust me. I would have started my episodes crying if that was the case. Mercy Richards. Nunca. Mama, pass me the toilet paper. Mama, pass me the toilet paper while I'm sitting on this mountain of evidence. That's so funny. Sister Crow, hey, brother, you make all this so much more digestible with all the ab workout humor. Thank you. Check out Man in America, MK Survivor series. One survivor informs that one of the mind elites sit on the turning point. Oh, yeah. EK giving vibes. Who is it? Who is it? What is this? I got to look into that now. Who do they say the person is that sits on the board? Is it Paul E. Vallely? I got to check now. See, this is a very good way. This is a very good way to pull somebody in. That was like a cliffhanger for me. MK Survivor. Yeah, that was like a cliffhanger. I'm like, oh, I gotta know. I gotta know what's going on right now. Okay, I'm gonna look into this. Is it from a month ago? JR Sweet? I gotta look into this. This has to be it. That has to be it. Oh man. All right. Well, thank you. I'll make sure. I'll make sure to check it out. Thank you, Sister Crow. What was this? Madeline? Do you think Andrew it should have been her talking about Candace that he meant to be CEO? Yeah, we talked about this. This one I read. I know I read this one. For sure I read this one. Yeah, I think I think he said that because it was actually supposed to be her. I think they intended for her to be much bigger than what she was, and I think they intended for her not to fall away from Turning Point. I think they thought she would stay with the plan. I think they thought she would be like Officer Tatum and just go with the plan, you know? Tom bought a coffee, relentless one. On the next episode of Casting Aspersions, was Napoleon really short? Yes, he was. Actually, I don't know. He's probably an average height. He's probably average height king. You know what I mean? The Slick Rick. Hey, Coach, I've been watching your channel for a while and have quickly become a fan, especially since you cracked me up. Please do a show as Gangster George, the whole show, and call it By the Order of Peaky Farmer. Have George step into all Candace's enemies. Whoop, whoop. That would be something. Keep that voice up the whole time. That might be hard. Michelle Thompson, love the channel. I listen all the time wherever I am, and LOL, I was in tears and my friends were concerned about me. That's so funny. I'm finally in the crew. Coach, this message has been long overdue. My wife introduced me to your work. Now the whole family is a fan. As a fellow Black Poppy, your Officer Tatum impressions are absolutely offensive and hilarious. We do them in the house all the time. Oh my gosh, we do them in the house all the time. May the Lord continue to bless you and your beautiful family. Thank you so much. Congrats on everything. Thank you. I have to say your testimony is powerful and inspiring. Keep letting God do his thing with you as you reach new heights. Big things are on the way for you, sir. Also, what's really going on with, I'll call it the Fanta. The Fanta? What's going on with Fanta? I don't know. It feels like they're trying to reheat vid nachos. You frame that pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Honestly, when it comes to Fanta, I don't go in for it. I'm not going in for it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not having the arguments. I'm not being told I'm a bad person. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. So I don't know what's going on and I don't care. Straight up. It's ridiculous. But I hope it doesn't get to the same point. You know what I mean? I got a few more coffees here. I think the better strategy in case of Blake would be to make sure he is planted, but this is just my opinion. I really like Candace, but this was weird. This is her way of making sure he was planted. And honestly, I think she doesn't care. I don't know Because right now she's like, oh, we're going to find out and see whatever connections there are, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I don't think she cares if he's planted, because he's not going to, she's not going to listen to him anymore. Maybe they continue having this back and forth. I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty one-sided. Maybe she brings him up again today. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. I guess it only matters in the case. So how do you make sure other than calling it out? See, that's one thing that Candace does. She does two things really well. She holds information and says, okay, I'm just going to hold this until the right moment. But then when she knows what that moment is and is sure of what she has, she gets very loud about it. And that is part of things. You have to get very loud. Now, also to remember, there's a reason she's getting very loud. So right now she's watching as she gets very loud. She got very loud about Mitch Snow, and then she saw a bunch of things happen. And she was like, okay. She's getting very loud about this Blake situation, and now she's going to sit back and see what happens. Who's going to attack her? Are the lawyers going to present anything more? What is he going to say himself? Like, she's watching a lot. So it's really hard to wrap your head around what she's going to be doing, especially when we don't actually know. Carol Cook didn't say all I wanted, it just went away. Didn't say all I wanted, it just went away. Why? Where? Not a AD Fleet is definitely not AD Fleet as per her. Yeah, the person that says they're not the person is definitely not. Oh, because someone else started a channel. Someone else. How do you? Let me see what you're talking about here. How do you start a channel with content that they've taken away? Someone did. That's interesting. And they have a buy me a coffee link. Look at them. And they have the X linked up. This is weird. So they have a buy me a coffee link that actually links to Fleet. Unless it's not Fleet, because Fleet didn't have a buy me a coffee link and they're just taking the direct name. And then it's linked to her direct profile. That's weird. If that's not her, somebody is jacking her right now with the coffees for sure. Somebody's jacking her because a whole bunch of people, bought coffees because they're upset. Wow, that's crazy. They only have 77 followers on YouTube though. Ask Lionel. He said he'd do it anytime. You are great. I should just see if he'll do tomorrow. It's late notice, it might not work, but I should just ask him because that would just be a fun way to just end the week, just a real fun conversation. I mean, not trying to tell you what to do. LOL. Caramel kisses. Thank you. Baron mentioned my hometown. What did he say? Pull you up. WA. He says it's pronounced exactly how it's spelled. I've heard every pronunciation under the sun. You're my favorite name pronouncer. What do you say? Pew all up. When I read the actual word, I see poo y'all up, poo y'all up. Sounds Chinese. Poo y'all up. Let me get one. I'm gonna get General Tao. Yeah, one. And then let me get 2 pull y'all ups. Let me get 2 pull y'all ups with the rice. Yep. Thank you. That's what it sounds like. Michelle, jump in on my lunch daily on 1.5, trying to get all the good info. Thanks for all you share. Congrats to you and the wifey. Where are we at? Okay, I have a thing. Oh man. Thank you for the beautiful prayer. Thank you very much, Mike Riley. We'll get to that in a second. No. Oh, I deleted it. Oh, it came out wrong. Okay. Well, thank you for creating, for saying that again. Sorry. So no, not AD Fleet is AD Fleet. I know this can get very confusing. I deleted it when it came out wrong. Okay. So we will look at that. What the hell? What is this? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so that is restarting. Man, restarting 77. 77 subscribers. Crazy. Oh man. That is rough. Very rough. Anyway, let me see what else we got here. Where are the coffees at? I know a couple came through because I just saw Mike Riley say something. We're almost at 4 hours here. I gotta get going, guys. Where's the Mike Riley one? Why didn't it show up? I just saw that he posted it. I know he posted it. It shows it on my phone. I guess it's a little late here sometimes, guys. I don't know. Sometimes it's like it's supposed to be showing me all the updated ones, and for some reason it doesn't. But I got it here, so I'm just gonna read it for Mike Riley. Shout out to Mike Riley. Appreciate you, man. Always appreciate you stopping in, talking with us. There's a bunch that aren't coming up. What? Jeez. Okay, let me see here. Let's see here. So Mike Riley says, thank you for the beautiful prayer, but damn, I absolutely love Officer Tatum and Mama to see some aliens and reptiles. Yeah, I have to write that down. Officer, I actually have to write that down. That's actually a good idea. Sees aliens. That's actually a good one. I'm writing that down. Let's go. That's actually a good one. She does confirm on her X account. Okay, so she's confirmed. That is her. That is a good one. Mike Riley. Shout out to Mike Riley. Defending his mountain of evidence from the UFOs landing on. That's actually funny. It's Esther. Oh, it's the same thing backwards and forwards. I never knew that. I can't help but think that episode from the Twilight Zone. Yes, I have dated myself to serve man. Twilight's way back. You could have watched it in syndication. I used to watch it as a kid. They come, bring a book no one can decipher, cure the sick, the land, make life all beautiful, no sickness, no disease, restore all the cattle. We, humanity, are healthy and eat organic, clean food. Spoiler alert, they decipher the book. It's a cool book. Rolling on the floor. Keep doing what you do. I cleaned the whole upstairs this morning, laughing my arse off. Jolly good show, old chap. Jolly good show, yeah. Yes. And let me just say something here. This is from Tom Keefbler Tom Keebler of the Keebler Elves. I'm kidding. I'm just misreading the name. I'd love to say something nice about my repeated attempts to simply do something nice, yet my frustration is starting to eclipse my nice demeanor. All I seek is some, destination to forward coach a gift that I have obtained for him over a month or so ago to forward. That's it. Just a P.O. box, please. I come in peace and I only want to send gifts. Coach noted that I am certain. Oh, you noted that you're certain that I will love and make near immediate use. My nice inquiry. Why is this such a difficult info to obtain? Well, because I have trust issues. Okay. I have trust issues. I'll be honest. I have trust issues with everybody. Okay. I'm working on it. All right. Let me see here if there's anything else. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is everything. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys very, very much. All of the help, all of the love, all of the sitting here with me. We are at 4 hours. way longer than I thought I would be. Got to the coffees a little late. I do have to say goodbye, everybody. I do have a meeting I have to get to ASAP, and I have to eat right before that meeting, you know, and be a dad and all that fun stuff. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We do appreciate you guys very, very much, and we will see you guys tomorrow. If I can get Lionel, you'll know about it. I hope I could get Lionel. I'll see if he is busy this Friday, you know. You'll be like, hey man, are you busy from like 10 a.m. to like 2 p.m.? Could you like sit down with me for 4 hours? We'll see. But anyways, guys, Candace will be going live today. I don't know if Baron will be going live, but I think he gave you a lot to chew on just as of last night. So definitely check out that episode in full if you haven't, and stay tuned because Candace should be coming in pretty hot. This week seems like all the smoke type of week for Candace. So anyways, guys, George Farmer, absolute gangster. Don't get on his wrong side. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.